Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Fire Emblem Awakening Lunatic Plus content. So, based on what happened from last week's stream, during the week I used some of my own free time to get another save file ready. I actually ended up getting 2 save files ready, and I'm going to explain why I had to do that. But I ended up getting 2 save files ready. This first one right here basically just does exactly what we did last time, but I was a lot more careful to make sure that I didn't let myself get completely screwed on level ups. I think as we're starting to plan strategies for Iron Man level consistency, identifying basically like run soft locks early on is going to be important. Like, one of the things I've noticed is that if Frederick doesn't level up strength at all before chapter 4, like, the run is pretty much over. And if he doesn't level up speed at all before chapter 4, the run is pretty much over. And each of these things isn't extremely likely to happen. It's like a 5% chance maybe for Frederick to just never level up strength, but it does happen. It happened to me once. I got one run where he just never leveled up speed, and there are just a couple of really important benchmarks where if Frederick just never levels up speed at all, it's just like impossible for him to fight the enemies. It makes the run so much harder. And so I redid everything that we did last week, but I just kind of got this run where all of my stat benchmarks are in the right place. And what I realized is that chapter 6, like chapter 5, I made chapter 5 more consistent. Chapter 6 is still just a nightmare. Like, I cannot get through this. And so my solution was to do an additional run, which you can actually kind of see the runs are almost the exact same length of time. But I did an additional run where I trained Vake, and I'm going to explain why I did that. So first, let's look at the basic file. Hey Neff Champion, thank you for chatting today, or I guess earlier in the week in the stream chat. Hey Tricky, thanks for being here today. Hello Star Wars fanboy, thanks for coming. Hey Tricky Burrito, thank you as well. Have I found a solution to the Bile wind tone problem? Yes, I did. People helped me out with that. Setting the game's clock forward does seem to fix the issue. I don't think this works on original hardware, which is probably the reason why I never really tried it at first. But if you are playing the game the way that I am, you can offset the clock, which kind of like sets the days forward in a way that tricks the game into thinking that time has actually passed. What's really funny is that I was originally advancing time in chunks because I wanted to see, like, you know, how long would it really take, and I ended up taking like 120 days or something to get the Risen to finally move. Hey Skywing, are the Risen still a problem? No, not really. We're going to talk about that now. So it ended up taking me like 120 days to get the Risen to move, but what we determined ultimately is that the amount of time that passes isn't exactly what causes them to move. What happens is that each time you log into the game for the first time on a new day, the Risen have a chance to either disappear or reappear, or Anna has a chance to appear or disappear. So what you need to do is just set the clock forward one day at a time each day, and then after doing this a couple of times, they will eventually go away. And I was able to do so. I have my Forged Wind Tome here. So here's the problem. So even though we did everything the same as we did last time, and we trained everything, we got everything figured out, there's a couple of issues. So you need a character who can hold this lane, this one is like the toughest one by far, and this lane over here, or at the very least characters who can hold these positions for like 1 or 2 turns to help clear out enemies before retreating back to the center. So what you need are 3 characters who are capable of fighting the enemies on this map and not instantly dying. Frederick is always going to be your carry on this chapter. He's so consistent, so good, so strong in this chapter. The better you train Frederick, the better performance he's going to give. The problem is Frederick literally cannot be in 3 places at once. He cannot be over here, and over here. You have to pick one lane to send him on, and then you need 2 additional characters to hold the other lanes, which is like almost impossible. And it would be okay if you could just have a character over here fighting against both of these lanes, but the problem is the thieves will go for this door and open it, and then you get a game over. So it doesn't work. You have to block all 3 lanes. You have to guard this door, and you also can't just guard this door, because then the Cavaliers will run through here, and they will also kill Amarin. So you have to block here, here, and here. The best you can do is kind of consolidate the right lane and the middle lane into just protecting the door, but even if you try to do that, you're getting attacked from both sides by a ton of enemies. Frederick can kind of do it, and we're going to get into that later, but either way, My Robin is like okay, but they're kind of squishy. My Chrom is like good, but he's kind of squishy. I need an additional character who can actually take hits from the enemies. And who is that? Obviously, it's Vake. He has a ton of HP, he has good defense, he has good combat stats. So I've realized that what I need to do is I need to be training Vake to help me get through this map. Tricky asks if I'm banning bonus teams completely. You set up a rule that you can buy items if you can also buy them from shops at the same point. I mean, okay, so it's not necessarily that I've banned it, but the way that the game works is that I have to actually open up a save editor, and I have to modify the save file of my game by going into the actual like hex file for the game in order to make the spot pass teams appear. So even if I wanted to do that, it would be an unbelievable pain to do that. And keep in mind, this would be like for Iron Man attempts as well. So I would maybe do like 10 runs in a row, and if the Risen end up blocking shops in like 3 of those runs, I would have to spend 10 minutes decompiling my save file, going in, editing the code, compiling the save file back together, putting it back into the game data folder, and I would have to do that every single time I wanted to buy an item. And I just don't want to do that. Using the clock advancement strategy is a lot more convenient. It just works. But yeah, you could on real hardware, that's the better strategy, because in that one, as long as you have the spot pass on your global save file, you can just access it on any save file. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way here. Every time I start a new run, I have to go in and I have to manually edit the game file again to make the spot pass shops accessible every single time. It's very frustrating. It's very annoying. Frederick, Robin, and Chrom doesn't really work. It just doesn't work. And actually, the question you've asked kind of highlights why. You're mentioning that you need a good pair up for all of them. So here's the problem. Robin needs a defense pair up. Chrom needs a defense pair up and a speed pair up, which you can't even get both of those into one. But let's pretend that was possible. And then Frederick also needs a speed pair up. So you could give Sumia for Frederick. You could give Kellum to Robin maybe. But that's only if your Robin is speed blessed. If your Robin doesn't have this much speed, then they also need speed and defense, which they can't get both. And then who does that leave for Chrom? Who's going to give speed and defense to Chrom? So you could maybe get speed from Lonku. You could get defense from basically nobody. You can kind of use Sully. Like, I've been using Sully Chrom to get around this issue, and it does help a little bit, but she doesn't give as much stats as like Sumia and Kellum do. So Chrom being the weakest link, and then also not even having a support partner left over for him, just makes it like impossible for him to hold lanes. He can barely even fight the enemies on this map, much less hold a lane against 5 incoming enemies. Star Wars Fanboy says you had to use Guy Bolg on Frederick to beat this map. Yeah, I don't like using the bonus items. I think they break the resource management game, which for me is one of the most fun parts of the game. You think the spot pass and the bonus teams are 2 different things? You think they're easy to summon? No, they're not easy to summon. I'll show you right now. Go back to the map. Okay, so even though we've already accessed this on our main game save file, if I go into the wireless menu and I try to access the bonus box, you activate it, there's nothing in here. There's no bonus teams, there's no bonus items, there's no bonus maps, there's no bonus challengers. I can try to update it, nothing happens. I have to go into the hex file, I have to manually update my game save file just to be able to access the spot pass teams. It just doesn't work on, it only works on original hardware. If your global save file has been updated. I have no way to update my global save file. The only thing I can do is go in and manually check. The only thing I can do is go in and manually update the save file for the games. For each new file that I start. Hello Honor, welcome to the stream. You noticed that my Lisa unit guide thumbnail changed. Is there any reason why that happened? Yes, there's a very good reason. Every time I make a new video, I create 3 thumbnails, and I set YouTube. YouTube has a feature that will automatically run all 3 thumbnails and tests them, so it shows the thumbnails to different people, and then it calculates which thumbnail is the most successful, and then after the test finishes, it changes the thumbnail to the most successful one. So probably what happened is that you originally saw one of my less successful thumbnails, and then later on, when it showed when the test was concluded, it changed it to a thumbnail that you have not seen yet. But realistically, what was happening is that it was showing all 3 thumbnails at the same time, and now it's only showing one of them. Spot Pass is the bonus box. Spot Pass is how you unlock the bonus box feature. And for SC, welcome to the stream. Have I seen you lately? I feel like I haven't seen you for a while. Hey X, you're saying good luck? Yeah, Chrom's 60% speed growth is often failing on me. Hey Risa, welcome to the stream. There are save editing tools, yes, but I don't want to have to stop and save edit my file every single time when I have to do like 10 runs in one day. It's just not fun. When I could just set the clock forward instead. It's just a waste of my time. Okay, so here's the other thing I concluded. While Vake does make this run easier, while using the Sully Chrom pair-up does make this run easier, what I've been neglecting is Paralog 2. So typically, in my normal Lunatic Plus runs, I save this for later so that I can give the experience to my training project units. However, if I'm going to be planning for Iron Man consistency, I need to use every available resource to make Chapter 6 as consistent as possible, which means I have to beat this chapter now. And one actually really fun thing that I can't believe that I've been overlooking all this time is that when you beat this map, you actually get access to a shop that sells hand axes and javelins. And otherwise, you won't get access to that until after you beat Chapter 7. So doing this before Chapter 6 actually gives you consistent available 1 to 2 range weapons way earlier than I would normally have them in my typical runs. So we're going to be doing this today. We're going to do Twins Turf. We're going to level up our characters. And we're going to use the characters with increased stats to try and go into Chapter 6 and find a more consistent line of play. So let's start with this first. Hey Duke Nuka-Cola, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's a really awesome feature. It's actually one of my favorite things that YouTube has added in a long time, Honor. The thumbnail test thing, and it's also encouraged me to like put effort into making better thumbnails and just making more thumbnails, whereas before I might just kind of be lazy about it. Although I will say for the video that I put out today, I only made 2 thumbnails and I was very lazy about it. They're basically the same thumbnail, just with different text. Anyway, I think these are the characters I wanted to send into here. Yeah, these are the characters I wanted to send into here. I feel like Rickon and Virion are just like the best early game chip units. They just start with like, I mean, honestly, Muriel has better speed, but her speed is not good enough to the point where it matters in a lot of cases. So typically, you're just going to want a speed pair up anyway. So this is kind of what I'm doing right now, my idea right now. Robin, I have also come up with a new Robin strategy, which I like to kind of call a pivot strategy. So when I start the run, I don't commit to my Robin. I haven't 100% decided what I'm going to do. At the end of Chapter 3, when Robin reaches level 10 and I'm ready to promote them, or when I'm ready to second seal them, I'm going to look at their stats. And if their speed is low, I'm going to turn them into a mage so that they don't get the -2 speed penalty, so they don't get this lowered speed growth of the Dark Mage. I can just turn them into a mage, and then later on I can pair them up with Saria so that she can bring Hex and Anathema to the pair, and that she can do Nosferatu tanking if she needs to in the short term, before Robin eventually switches into a sorcerer. But if Robin's speed is high, like in this case if we got a Robin with good speed, I can turn Robin immediately into a Dark Mage, and then I can pair them up with Maribel. This allows Robin to bring Hex and Anathema, while Maribel is going to later on bring Demoiselle and Dual Support Plus, and it allows Robin to go directly into Sorcerer so that I can use Saria for a second additional pairing. That's the theory. We haven't really gotten far enough into the run yet to see how well it works, but I'm pretty sure it works pretty well. 25 magic. Yeah, my Robin was extremely blessed. I mean, this is plus magic Robin, and they're essentially level 21 at this point, so I mean, it's not that crazy. Their base magic. Let's do some calcs, honestly. I'm in the mood. Honestly, I'm in a very spreadsheet like meta strategy calculations type mood today. So let's go to Serene's Forest. Fire Emblem Awakening. I think their growth rate is the same between Tactician and Dark Mage. If it's not, we're gonna have to do 2 separate calcs, but it's not that big of a deal. In fact, I can just average them out. That works as well. Let me set my asset, because I am plus magic Robin. 65, my flaw is strength. Okay, so 65 in Tactician, and where's Dark Mage? It's like all the way at the bottom of the list. My second monitor is actually blocking it, I can't see. Dark Mage is 65. Yeah, so it's 65 for both. And we've gained 9 plus 10. We've gained 19 levels times 0.65. So in theory, we should have gained about 12 points of magic, and Robin's base stats as a plus magic Robin are 5, 6, 7. So we should have 12 plus 7. We should have 19 magic. We have 25 magic. So yeah, this Robin is insanely magic blessed. This is like way above average. This is way above average. In fact, this is like 25 minus 7. We've actually gained magic on 18 out of 19 levels. So our Robin is operating with a 94% magic growth right now. Hey Poochievert, welcome to the stream. Yeah, very frail. How's the run going? So we're once again, we're just kind of doing more Iron Man testing and strategizing and planning today. We're not really doing any actual runs, but we're doing gameplay and stuff, but we're kind of just testing things out. So my plan for today is to clear out Side Story 2 before going into Chapter 6, and I want to see how much the extra levels and the extra stats add to the consistency. Speaking of consistency, I noticed one insane thing while I was, playtesting this map earlier in the week. This almost never happens, but it can happen on Lunatic Plus specifically. This cannot happen on Lunatic, but on Lunatic Plus specifically, this can happen. If the enemies around here roll the correct skills, they can actually kill Anna so fast that you cannot stop this barbarian from reaching the village. It becomes impossible to stop him from reaching the village. Because what happens is if these two kill Anna before this barbarian acts, instead of running over to attack Anna, he moves like all the way up here, and then he'll go to this tile, and then he'll reach, by the time like you can get up here, he's already here. And then on the next turn he reaches the village, he destroys it. There is literally nothing you can do to stop it. There is no way to get up there fast enough. You can have Sumia start in this position with the Frederick pair up for +1 move. You can have her move her max movement every turn, and you cannot reach the village before this guy destroys it. So hopefully we can avoid that from happening. It's very rare, but it does happen from time to time. Hey Jansen, welcome to the stream. Good morning, Ellery. Thank you. Jansen, good morning to you as well. I actually had a wonderful morning today. +6 magic blessed, extremely blessed. Hey Winnie the Foo, welcome to the stream. Hey Ma, welcome to the stream. Did I restart the stream? You could have sworn that I was over the ocean a few weeks ago. So I have a main run that's kind of ongoing, which is basically just about beating the game and gathering footage that I can use for my guide videos, showcasing my strategies for all the chapters. And then I've kind of been alternating between doing that and working on planning and testing for my Iron Man run that I'm going to do in the future later this year. So today we're working on plans and strategies for Iron Man, Lunatic plus Iron Man. Yeah, if they reach the village early, it's bad for 3 reasons. It causes the boss to immediately aggro, which we're going to be using that to our advantage. I'm going to show off it's an awesome strategy. It is a little bit wonky because the enemy AI for the barbarians is inconsistent. They don't all behave the same, but if you can get it to work, it's very funny and it's extremely effective. Number 2, the enemies that normally go for the village instead become aggressive as well. That's also true. And then number 3, yes, we also miss out on the physics staff, which is a huge deal. The physics staff is very important. Alright, so let's get into this. I don't have a great opener or a great strategy for this chapter yet. I'm just going to be honest about that. We're going to be kind of running into this until we can just like power our way through it. But it is what it is. Like, for now, this is fine. I want Lisa up here and break him down here. Yeah, for now, this is fine. The big problem is these 2 enemies. A lot of everything kind of depends on what skills these 3 enemies here roll, and to a lesser extent, this mage. So I'm going to show you the opener that I've been using. It's like, I would say 40% successful, which is not great. I'm going to work on refining this chapter later. For now, I just want to get through this chapter and work on refining chapter 6. Hey Spin, welcome to the stream. I'm surprised you made it here today. It must be around, what is it, midnight there in Japan? Yeah, this chapter is pretty rough if you try to do it early. And typically I do this chapter later, so it's usually a breeze for me. So I don't really have developed like advanced strategies that I would use for this chapter. Anyway, I pair up Robin with Maribel. This is going to be Robin's long-term partner because we're using Dark Mage Robin. Otherwise, I'm not sure exactly what I do. I'm going to pair up Frederick with Sumia. I'm doing Frederick Sumia, and I'm doing Chrom Sully. I find that Chrom Sully and Frederick Sumia makes better use of Sully and Sumia. This kind of matches the same principle of why I don't like to pair Robin and Chrom together. I've talked about how if you pair Robin and Chrom together, you're taking 2 good units and you're combining them into 1 good unit. It's the same theory here. Sumia Chrom is a better pair in the long term than Chrom Sully, but in the long term, Sumia Frederick and Chrom Sully gives you 2 good pairings instead of only 1 good pairing. Because if you don't give Sumia to Frederick, he doesn't really have any other good option for the long term. So in order to make Frederick good in the long term, we give Sumia to him, and then Chrom Sully is good enough. Like, you don't need Chrom Sumia because Chrom Sully is already good enough. And honestly, it has the unintended side effect that in the short term, Chrom Sully is actually kind of better because it improves his physical combat. Anyway, as long as this guy doesn't have counter, what I like to do is start by having Robin go up here, and then take out this guy. This allows this pair to go over here. Up here, we're going to use the Levin sword. We need to chip this guy down. And then I've kind of just been praying for a dual strike here. I guess there's like a couple different ways I can handle it. So one of them is to have Frederick just attack this guy and kill him. But if I remember correctly, I actually didn't have a strong enough weapon to do that. So what we're going to do is Javelin can deal 10 damage here, and then Frederick can... we want to make sure we use a weapon that can actually kill this guy. So we're going to deal 10 damage plus 19 is enough, so we're going to use the sword in that case. So we're going to go for bronze sword dual strikes with the javelin. It's actually not super likely, unfortunately. Okay, we got it on the first attempt. Usually the attempts don't go this well, and usually like either this guy here or this guy here, like this guy has Aegis or this guy has counter, and I just have to reset over and over again for enemy skills. Right now it's looking pretty good. The only downside is this guy really likes to attack Chrom instead of Sumia. So what he's going to do, he's going to go up here, he's going to attack Chrom, and then he's going to block the bridge. And him blocking the bridge causes a ton of problems that I just have... Once again, it's just a problem I have not solved yet. I have to figure it out. The thing about this map is that the majority of the enemies completely ignore your units until you rescue the village. And we're going to use that to our advantage. We're basically just going to ignore almost every single enemy on the map. So you think this is the danger zone, but the actual danger zone is these enemies don't do anything. These enemies don't do anything. Let me see. These enemies don't do anything to us. I think they will attack Anna, but they won't attack us. The mages will attack us. The 2 barbarians here will attack you, and unfortunately, this group up here does start moving right away. If I remember correctly, I think I checked the wiki, and it said that these enemies don't start moving right away unless you move within their range. I tested it. That's completely false. They will absolutely start moving, even if you don't stand in their range. So you have to proactively get ready to intercept these enemies, because they will start moving as soon as the very first turn, even if you try to stand outside of their range. This guy right here, you can bait him over as a solo enemy. He's the only enemy who can move through this path and attack this tile. We're going to use that to our advantage. We're going to pull him this way, and when we do that, it causes the mage and the barbarian, and sometimes the archers, to also all move to the left, which gives us more time to sort out these enemies. Whereas if you don't stand in this guy's range, what happens is they all move towards the center, and they end up just overlap. They have a ton of overlapping range on like all of these tiles, and it gives Robin no safe places to stand next turn. In order to get Vake and Varion out of here next turn, what we need to do is put a cross-shaped formation here, because Vake is going to move down 2 tiles next turn, 1, 2, and then he's going to pair up with Lisa, and he's going to pass Varion over to Rickon. Alright, we're hoping for a decent enemy phase here. Yeah, he moved onto the bridge. Okay, we got lucky with the dual strike there. Okay, we're off to a really good start. We've gotten incredibly lucky so far. That guy surviving is not ideal, but honestly, this could have gone so much worse. This can go so much worse in like 10 different ways. Okay, Anna killed that guy. That's good, because that means that next turn, this guy is going to fight Anna instead of moving for the village. If this guy kills Anna, that's what causes this guy to move all the way over here, and then on the next turn he moves here, and you just can't stop him. Now we can go max movement here. We don't need to worry about anything. None of these enemies can reach or attack Sumia right now, so we can just go right here. You do have to worry about the archer. Let me highlight him real quick. You do have to worry about the archer. If you move Sumia into range of the archer, he will shoot her down, but as you can see, even on her max movement, she can't reach the archer anyway, so it doesn't matter. Everything else is going to ignore her. I need Sumia in the lead here, unfortunately, because I need to fly next turn. We did get +1 support, that's great. Right now, my Frederick and Sumia are on 4 out of 8. So if they gain 3 points this chapter, and then they also get +1 from the support conversation that they just got, they can reach 8 out of 8, which means they can reach a B support in a single map. This chapter can be rough early on. Chapter 6 versus Paralog 2, which one is harder? I think Chapter 6 is way harder. Do I think Pan's parrot bonuses are useful for Frederick? Yeah, actually, Pan is a good partner for Frederick. You can use Pan if you want to. But unfortunately, because she joins so much later, she doesn't help you with Frederick's consistency in Chapters 4, Side Story 1 in Chapter 5 or Chapter 6, or really even Chapter 7, because they're not even going to have the C support in Chapter 7. Yeah, the wiki says that the northwestern barbarians all begin moving if any of them or the archer or the mage is provoked. That's just false. It's just completely wrong. They start moving right away. You do Chrom Sumia because you like having a Gale Force Sniper Lucina, but that requires rushing Gale Force by Chapter 13, and you're not sure how that works on Lunatic Plus. You can do it on Lunatic Plus. I've showed it off on stream already. I actually showed it off on the main file that we're running through. But I don't think you can do it for Iron Man consistency because you can't afford to feed that much experience to Sumia. It just makes your entire team very weak and it makes the entire run inconsistent. So for the Iron Man run, I wouldn't do that. You just can't afford to spend that much time and effort getting Lucina ready at some indeterminate point in the future when you need like your other characters to be ready now. Okay, so here's the problem I'm seeing. All 3 of these characters have overlapping ranges. Only the archer is separate from them. If I can set it up so that Robin can fight the archer and the barbarian, I think we can buy ourselves a turn. So let me see if I can do that. So 28 plus 23. They're going to deal 51 damage minus 9 defense twice, which is 33. Robin survives 33 as long as they don't have Luna. They don't have Luna. This guy doesn't have pass, which means I can body block him. Unfortunately, I can't do the thing I would like to do. I would like to have Robin stand here and kill this guy. But if I do that, the archer won't be able to reach me, and I need the archer to reach me. So the next thing I have to think about is where I want to stand. I think here is better. No. Here has to be better. Because I have to do something about this mage. In fact, I have to make sure this mage can't kill Chrom. 20 minus 2, it's going to deal 18 damage. I don't think I have any concoctions or elixirs either. No, I only have vulneraries. So I actually have to get Chrom. See, this is one problem. Another problem with the first mage. If the mage moves onto the bridge and attacks Chrom, not only is he typically blocking the bridge, which really kind of screws up everything for the following turn, but even in a situation like this where we have the bridge free, this guy can just kill Chrom on the next turn. What we can do actually is move Chrom up here. This works. If I wanted to be really cheeky, what I could do is attack this guy right now. I might be able to do this. I can. This prevents any enemies from reaching Sully while allowing Sully to chip down this enemy. She's going to survive on 2 HP, and nothing that can reach her will attack her proactively. Ooh, we got a dual strike as well. I mean, it's dual strike, man. You're going to expect him to get dual strikes. This enemy won't attack. Even though we attacked him, he still will not attack. He's just going to keep moving. So that just kind of bought us a little bit of time. Got us a little bit of chip damage. So if Robin stands here, they're going to kill this guy and this guy. The mage, unfortunately, will survive for 1 more turn. But we'll just work with that as best we can. I'm going to actually do this and this. So what I like to do is move Rickon down here and then drop Vig here. Then I go like this. I transfer Virion back over to him, and then I don't risk him. Then I heal him back to full with Staff Touch. Okay, so this Barbarian, instead of going for the village, he should double back and start attacking Anna now, which is going to buy us an extra turn. Very nice level up. Speed, I love to see speed. We survive on 6. So even though these Barbs have lethal on Robin, they will not attack Robin. They're just going to completely ignore Robin. Okay, perfect. I think that's okay. Actually, I'm not sure. Can we reach that guy? Yes, we can. Okay, yeah. So this is okay. This is fine. We're going to have to kill this guy. We can't leave him alive for 1 more turn, but because Anna chipped him down, we can definitely kill him safely. You could also have Frederick stand here and just kill him from this position, which actually might be smart. Because We're going to be able to buy infinite 2-range weapons after this map anyway. And if we do it this way, not only will we not take any counter damage, but it will set us up to kill these archers on the following turn. Nice. I should probably have Sumia using the Bronze Lance instead of the Killer Lance. I'm wasting Killer Lance charges. That was a misplay. Alright, so we have to be careful. This enemy are both aggressive. These enemies are going to start chasing my other units into the corner if I don't get rid of them soon. And also I have to deal with the fact that Robin's health is actually quite low. This happens a lot. I've noticed on this map, Robin's health keeps getting very low, and it's difficult for me to figure out a way to plan around that. What I can try to do is I could run to the right and then use Sully to body block this tile, but I would have to make sure that I get rid of the mage, and unfortunately he has Vantage, so I can't get rid of him with any character who then needs to also be on full HP. Robin can take 5 damage though, so I can actually do this. Robin can survive on 1. The problem with this strategy, there's a very big problem with this strategy, and it has to do with these units over here. They're just going to keep getting pushed. They're just going to keep getting pushed down to the point where these enemies won't continue to chase them. What I noticed kind of works in my previous attempt is if I move these units all the way down here, sometimes it causes the enemies to double back and start chasing after Robin instead, because they feel like these characters are too far away to catch up to them. I don't know if we can get that to work, but we can at least try it. So what we're going to do is... Unfortunately, this guy spawning with counter really screws me over too, because I can't even enemy phase him now. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is kind of frustrating. Yeah, if these enemies just didn't move on turn 1, it would make this map so much easier. Because then we could just move all of our units over into the center and then fight from the center position. But because they start moving right away, these characters always get trapped behind enemy lines, and then you have to fight from this position where you're trying to fight enemies on both sides. And even if you remove the enemies that you're allowed to, that you're capable of ignoring, there's still so many threats on the map. And Frederick won't survive forever up here on his own. Let me get caught back up on chat. You're saying that attacking the 2 barbarians on the bridge triggers all of the other enemies into attacking. Yeah, but the problem is if I stand within range of these 2 barbarians, they'll attack me anyway, which will then provoke all of these units. So either way, they're going to start moving on the first turn. Yeah, you can't progress the map without like being in range of these 2 barbarians. So the only way that information matters is if you're low manning the map with like a single, like 1 or 2 Pegasus units, and you just have them like fly over here on the first turn, which is actually what the old Lunatic plus route does, but I don't like low manning. I mean, yeah, you can use a strat, yes, Skywing, you can use a strat where you avoid them on turn 1, but like you can't really make use of that if you're actually trying to get across the bridge, because you have to get these guys out of the way. Hey Mirror Fanboy, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Tricky, if you're testing it anyway, what I would prefer if you do, can you test if I leave units in range of the guys on the bridge? What I want to know if the guys on the bridge will attack me, and then if they attack me, does this cause the other enemies to start moving? Because if they don't attack me, I could move all of my units up here on turn 1, and then allow the enemies to ignore me, and then on turn 2 I could push across the bridge. Or if they attack me, but this doesn't cause the other enemies to aggro until the following turn, what we could do is leave 1 unit in their range, have that 1 unit fight them, and then on the next turn we would have an extra turn to buy us. If you are in range, they will attack and it will aggro all of them, so yeah, then the information is not really that useful, unfortunately, for a full team context. Anyway, we know what we need to do, I just don't really see it leading to a winning attempt. Because Robin, once again, has to remain on low health. In fact, they're going to be on 1 HP here. And then we can't even buy ourselves any momentum because Sully needs to just body block here with nothing equipped. Unless I'm willing to risk a 39% dodge. And even then, that's not really going to buy us like a lot of momentum. It's going to buy us like absolutely minimal momentum. So we go like this, we unequip. This is going to body block the bridge. Frederick was hopefully going to get rid of these guys, or at least chip them down. The problem is if you can't get rid of the archers fast enough, yeah, you get into this situation. This guy has counter, now I can't fight the archers anymore, which means I'm gonna have to let these archers continue shooting at me for the next 10 turns, and this one has Luna, which really sucks. That really sucks. Hold on, I'm gonna have to make a more proactive play. But the good thing is about this proactive play is that now that I know that I can buy more hand axes as soon as I finish this chapter, I'm just gonna use every hand axe that I need to. Now there is one issue, one oversight. I did not do enough testing. It looks like Frederick does not have enough damage to one-round these barbarians, which means I need a dual strike here. If I don't get this dual strike, I'm just instantly going to lose. And unfortunately, even if I use a strength tonic, I'm still not going to have enough damage. Man, this Frederick really sucks. I wonder, like, we have the page open already. I'm going to calculate Frederick's expected strength right now. So his base is 13. His growth rate is 65. So 6 times 0.65. So he should have gained 3 points of strength, which would normally put him on 16. So it seems like he's above average, but keep in mind we already gave him a power drop to give him +2. So actually our Frederick is on 15 out of 16. So he's -1 strength. He's not as far behind as I thought, but he's behind on his strength growths. And if he had 1 extra point of strength, if he had 1 extra point of strength here, if he had the strength that he was supposed to have, we could one round these guys guaranteed with a strength tonic. But without that, we have to rely on very inconsistent dual strikes. Which we were very lucky to get one there. Now we can enemy phase both of these archers, which is going to be very useful, because it's going to allow us to either get rid of or injure them. Okay, now we're just getting into more and more trouble. Okay, so the good thing is all of the enemies turn around except for just this one barbarian. Vake can beat this barbarian in a 1v1 scenario, as long as he has support from Lisa, which he does have. So we're going to go here. We're going to have our Iron Axe equipped. We're going to go here. We're going to transfer Virion. We're going to transfer Virion over, so we have extra strength and defense. Now I want to make sure this barb cannot reach Lisa. I don't think he can. He can move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he can't move 6 tiles. So yes, I'm going to move here. I'm going to stand next to Vake. He's already on full HP, so we're going to let him fight the barb this turn. The fact that the enemies behaved exactly how I wanted might give us a winning chance here. So these guys are actually not aggressive. These guys are aggressive. So I have a lot of territory here that is currently being covered by enemies. But if I want to fight just this guy, it's not going to work. This guy has counter as well. This guy has counter as well. We really need... The big problem is we need more healing than what we have. Like, we need way more healing than what we have. Like, we need an elixir for Robin, and we just don't have one. Even a concoction would be nice, but we just do not have one. So what can we do? And this mage will attack Sully instead of Robin, which means Sully will die. What I could do is... I could try to move completely out of their range for this turn, because these enemies won't attack. These enemies won't move, they won't attack. But if I do that, they might turn around and start chasing Vake again. How far can this guy move? Well, hold on, I just need to move 6 tiles. But if I move 6 tiles, then Robin might be in danger. So hold on, let me move Robin 5 tiles first. 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, they can't even move 5 tiles because of the terrain, the exact layout of the terrain. I could leave them in range of this archer, maybe. No, because this archer has Luna. They'll die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can put them... No, that's not gonna work. There's actually no safe place where I can move Robin. That will put them out of range of this guy. And then they'll kill themselves with counter damage. The only place I can move them is here, which is in range of, actually, both enemies. So that doesn't, it's the opposite of, it just does not work in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, unfortunately the terrain is set up so that I actually have I have no tiles that I can move to that are 5 spaces away. They're all blocked by rivers. And then this space is actually closer to the barbarian instead of being further away, because I'm moving left, I'm moving back towards him. I guess here would kind of work, but that leaves me in range of just 1 archer. Can I survive a round of combat from him? 23. -5. No, I take 18 damage, I die. He doesn't know that he has lethal against me, but he probably prefers to attack Robin instead of attacking... Yeah, he'd prefer to attack Robin instead of attacking Frederick, so I would still die. Can we do anything with this information? I mean, I can move Robin here, and then this guy will hit them for 18 damage, which will kill them, so that doesn't work. I could bank on Sully dodging an attack or surviving. Because I can use Robin to kill this guy. And then I can move Sully forward 1 square. But then Sully's going to get attacked by both of these enemies. In fact, that's not even going to happen. This guy's going to attack Robin and kill Robin because he's going to see lethal on Robin. So that doesn't even work. Because he has pass. He'll just walk through Sully and he'll just kill Robin. Struggling, I don't see a safe tile. Let me see if chat's seeing anything. The boss doesn't move if you go in their range. Not until after you've visited the village. Unless I'm completely misremembering, I'm pretty sure I just tested this yesterday. Tricky says if I'm in range they will attack. No, sorry, he's answering my question from earlier. You don't know if I'm comfortable with Frederick and Sumia protecting the village on their own. That's exactly what I'm doing, Tricky. That's the strategy I'm already doing. Instead of visiting the village, you just have Frederick stand here without visiting it, and it makes it so that he only needs to fight these enemies and it doesn't aggro the other enemies on the map. Yeah, the boss doesn't move. I know. I just tested that. I literally just tested it yesterday. But yeah, sometimes this happens a lot when I'm streaming, or even sometimes when I post videos. People will make suggestions of what I'm already doing. But the only reason I didn't explain it earlier is because I want to explain it when we actually get there and when I'm actually doing it. But yes, the strategy that I have for this chapter is to have Frederick stand on this tile, because the barbarians can't they can't destroy the village. So they will never cause the boss to aggro. And what's really funny is that 3 out of the 4 barbarians, I think maybe even 4 out of 5 of them, actually will not even attack Frederick. They'll just stand here next to him. So if you can get rid of the archers, and if the enemies move in a good configuration, the enemies won't even attack Frederick. You can just stand here forever. If you get a bad configuration, there is one enemy who will move next to Frederick and attack him. I think it's either this one, or possibly both, might attack Frederick if they can get into the space next to him. You can kind of try to fix that problem, but it's not always easy to do. It depends on which ones have counter and what other skills they have. Because none of these guys have counter, we can actually theoretically just clear out all the enemies with Frederick. We don't even have to sandbag. But our bigger problem now is that we have no way to keep Robin alive for 1 turn. Except for, I guess, dodging an attack. Which I don't know what this guy's hit rate is on Robin. And I have no way to check it until after I move Sully. Okay, nobody is calling out anything in chat in terms of like seeing a line of play that gives me a way to keep Robin safe. So we're gonna have to go with dodging here. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I stand here, I should be fine. Having Sully in the lead will give me more mobility next turn, but having Chrom in the lead will allow me to use a vulnerary with Chrom, which I think I need to do. So I'm going to do this. Okay. Next, I need to move Robin into a space that is in range of the Barbarian, but not the Mage. So his hit rate is 45. That's not great. but it is less than the displayed hit rate. It's not as high as we think it is. I guess potentially if Maribel can survive a round of combat against him, leaving her in the lead would be the play, but that actually doesn't really work because it just puts us into the same position that we were in last turn. The next big problem is the fact that he has counter, which means I can't even keep my weapon equipped. So I have to just... yeah, so in fact, I feel like we're just going to keep doing the same thing. So even if we dodge this attack, which we didn't, but even if we dodge that attack, we would just be in the same position where we have 3 enemies with counter right in front of us, and no way to get through them. Okay, so unfortunately, because that attempt failed, you guys are probably going to get to see what I was talking about earlier, when I was mentioning that this opener is extremely inconsistent, unfortunately. And now that we know that these enemies are going to attack us if we stand within their range, there's no real reason to not get into their range. If this guy spawns with counter, I just instantly reset. It's not even worth it. He will just kill Robin. Yeah, 30 damage. Robin hits incredibly hard. Am I going to send Sumia and Frederick solo and not aggro the barbarians to see if that works? I already know that it works. I did it yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. So we might even have to do that. The majority of the times you have to do that. Or no, sorry, I see what you're asking now. You're asking me if I want to send just Sumia and Frederick through here and then leave all of my other units over here. What would be the advantage to doing that? I'm trying to think. What would be the advantage to doing that? I guess it would allow me to get all of my units over here, closer to the right side, before I start engaging the enemies. The downside is that these mages would begin to chase Sumia and Frederick, and I wouldn't have any way to run interference. But honestly, I want to try it at least once. I think it's a good idea. Hey Neff, welcome to the stream. Good morning. I read your chats from the waiting room. I'm showing off the run with Vake now. I kind of showed off earlier and explained why why I have to use Vake, because we have no real way to win without him, no real way to beat Chapter 6 without him. He just increases the consistency so much. So yeah, there's a really big problem here. Where can Sumia actually move that will still allow her to reach the village in time? Maybe there's a tile. Let's look for it. So I guess it would be this one. And if we do this, we can proactively try to kill the mage too. Although I don't see any advantage to... oh yeah, no, there is an advantage to doing this. It's because she has exact lethal, because I actually gave her a strength tonic so she would have exact lethal on this guy. And because this guy has Hawkeye anyway, he's always going to hit Sumia, so we might as well just kill him. And if we get a dual strike, we avoid taking any damage, as we did. So these guys will ignore us. So next turn, I'll move Sumia up here. And we should be able to do our village opener the same, while our bottom side opener is going to be different. So our bottom side opener is now going to be all about getting our units into a position where we can rush the bridge in a single turn with one push, instead of having a bunch of units stranded on the left side alone. I think this works really well, or at least I'm hoping that this works really well. These units probably here is fine, I guess. All right, so let's see what happens. Looks like it works. Don't kill yourself. Okay, Anna's fine. The only problem is the archer might be able to kill her, and if the archer kills her, then this guy's gonna go for the village, which might cause problems. Not sure yet. This mage is moving already too, so we have to factor that into our plans. We might be able to set up a combat. Yes, we can. We can set up a combat against... wow. Okay, this is very important. This opener is very good, even outside of the low man context, because you can set up an encounter where you fight just this mage, which stops him from going up to the village. So we're going to do this. Is there anyone who I would prefer to fight the mage instead of Robin? It's probably better to have Sully fight the mage in an ideal world, but we can't do that because we didn't really plan for that happening. Yeah, so as you can see, even if we move our max movement, if we go from here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And by the time we reach here, the barbarian will already be destroying the village. So he has to double back and attack Anna this turn. Otherwise, we have no recourse. I'm also going to ignore the shiny spot for now. Potentially to give myself more flexibility on my mobility next turn. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to leave our units out of range of the enemies. So the mage should see... this is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. We might be okay here. Yeah, so the mage goes for Robin. Okay. So we have to get rid of this guy now, and we have to do it in such a way that keeps Frederick in the lead, while also guaranteeing the kill on the enemy, which, like I said, we can't do because our Frederick is strength screwed. So we just have to get a dual strike here. Didn't get it? You have to reset. But this opener is so much more consistent that I honestly think it's fine. I honestly think it's fine. Hey, Red Watcher, welcome to the stream. You haven't been watching lately because of your exams. Who did I end up marrying? So in this run, so right now we're doing playtesting for our Iron Man strategy, and for the planned Iron Man run, we actually have 2 different versions of Robin. When we get to the end of Chapter 3, if Robin's speed is high, I'm going to send them into Dark Mage, and then marry them to Maribel. This way we get Hex, Anathema, Demoiselle, and Dual Support Plus on our Nosferatu tank. If Robin's speed is low, I have to send them into Mage so that they don't lose speed from going into the Dark Mage Sorcerer line. And then later on, I'm going to marry them to Saria. That way we get Hex and Anathema from Saria, and our version of Robin is going to have Magic +2 and Tome Fair, which gives them +7 damage on dual strikes, which will make Saria hit a lot harder. If Fred met his strength benchmark, this opener would be 100% consistent. Yes, that's actually true. Because with 18 strength plus a strength tonic, he would deal 6 additional damage to these guys, which would be it would be exact lethal on them, because right now he's dealing 32. He would be able to deal 38, which is exact lethal. Is this Chrom still cursed? No, I reset the run, and I always make sure that Chrom gets at least 1 strength and 1 speed level up at the start, and I always make sure that Frederick gets at least 1 strength and 1 speed level up at the start. As long as you get those 2 things to happen, you can play out the rest of the run. But if that doesn't happen at the start, it's not worth playing the rest of the run, because then if you continue to get unlucky level ups, you will eventually soft lock your run. And you don't, instead of letting that happen 6 hours later, it's better to just reset the run right away. Okay, I needed a dual strike there, I didn't get it. Hey Olorin, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Yeah, we found a really good line here, especially thanks to input from chat. I'm just going to reset until this guy doesn't have Pavis, because it's just too annoying to try and burst him down with Pavis. Can I forge hand axes? Yes, I could. I could do that, but I'm not going to, because it would just waste money. In the planned Iron Man run, I'm not going to have to forge hand axes, because I'm always going to make sure that my Frederick has enough strength. So instead of updating the route to include forged hand axes, what I should do is update the route to include the fact that I'm just always going to make sure that Frederick has enough strength. Does that make sense? Like I'm not going to play out any routes where Frederick doesn't have enough strength. So I don't need to worry about making plans for those lines. I wanted Sully to fight this mage. Can I still do that? Possibly. I mean, I have time to reposition, right? Yeah, I should. Oh, watch out. Don't do that. There's a reason why I want Sully to do this, and it's because she's kind of behind on her level benchmarks. If I can find a way to give experience to her, which I think I can do by giving her experience in this chapter, it will help make my my overall route more consistent. Red Watcher, your Despoil run turned out to be a huge success. That is awesome to hear. I really want to do a Despoil run myself. I think, especially because I think Robin is the best candidate to be a Despoil user, and that is so fascinating to me. The idea of turning Robin into a Barbarian at the very start of the run could actually be beneficial. I think it can actually work. I think it's actually a very smart play, and that is just such a cool idea. Unfortunately, I did not give the Javelin to Sully because I'm an idiot, and also because Sumia needs it, and I only have 1 Javelin. So, We can have... I don't want to waste 11 sword charges. Alright, we'll just have Robin do it then. It's fine, it's the same opener we were already doing. Should I pair up my units, or should I keep them unpaired? It's actually better to keep them unpaired, just for flexibility. So we've got all our units moved at the edge of the range. We're going to go up here. We're going to do the same thing as last turn, I think. No, I'm going to use the shiny spot this turn because I'm less worried about reaching that guy within one turn. So let's do this. You went back earlier in the stream to see what you weren't here for, and you completely missed that I asked you how you were doing. To answer that question, you're doing pretty good. That's great to hear. I'm having a great day, great week, great month. Honestly, I'm having a great year. If he misses the +1 strength benchmark, you can use a +1 forge to fix the issue. Yeah, but just like I explained, it's for Iron Man consistency, I'd rather plan out lines of play that are going to lead to higher consistency in the long term. Oh, he ignored... Okay, never mind, no. Anna attacked him, though. And unfortunately, he hit her with advantage and killed her. So it causes the same problem. Now we have to get this dual strike again. That was just really unlucky. He has the exact skills that he needed to kill Hannah. Got the dual strike. Okay, so we're fine. Frederick will now enemy phase this archer, and then all we have to do is protect the village until we're ready to move on the bridge. I think we're okay. The only downside with this line of play is that sometimes your characters can pick off or weaken these enemies before they reach Frederick, but now we won't be able to do that. Now we won't be able to do that because we're keeping our other characters down here for longer. Okay, so what we should do now is think about how we're going to approach the bridge in a way that's going to get our other units across, get all of our other units over the bridge as fast as possible. This guy having counter actually doesn't really cause any major problems for me. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unfortunately, we can't get as far as we need to. So actually, this guy having counter does cause problems for me. I need to approach from a tile that's not blocked by the woods, but unfortunately every tile is blocked by the woods. And Cavaliers have really crappy movement through the woods. So the only thing I could do is... Can Robin take... No, this guy's... Oh crap, this guy has counter. Okay, never mind. Yeah, this changes everything. If this guy's counter, that completely screws the entire plan. Alright, we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna take out this guy. Now, we can't enemy phase this one because he has counter, but maybe we can use the fact that we have more momentum to our advantage. So we're gonna go here. I'm gonna equip the Killing Edge because I'd like to crit this guy if possible. I could also potentially pull this guy away using Vake. I don't think that's a great idea. But on the other hand, I need to get my other units as far to the right as possible anyway. So I kind of need to use Vake anyway. Problem is I need... I think I can make this... No, I can't make this work. Can I? I can't get everyone over to the right-hand side. But I can do this. I think this guy would prefer to attack Vake more than anyone else, but that's fine because Vake can fight him for a turn. Do this, and then move Lisa here. She can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She can pair up with Rickon next turn if she's standing here. So I think this works. I'm very curious to see what that other guy's going to do. Ooh, nice. Nice dual strike. Honestly, even if we can't forge hand axes, the fact that we can now buy infinite hand axes is just huge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, this guy moving here actually stops Lisa from pairing up with Rickon. That kind of ruins our entire plan. This guy does not have counter. This guy has Luna. It's very scary, and overlapping ranges too. Yeah, we can't stay in range of all these guys. The plan doesn't really work. We still can't get across the bridge fast enough, even with all of our units starting at the edge of the woods. These woods tiles are brutal. Potentially we can set up a situation where Robin only fights these two enemies. If we go here, we can pick off this guy. Correct. Now potentially my other characters can maybe pick off this guy in such a way that keeps them safe, but I don't see that happening because this guy unfortunately reaches all those tiles. Chrom can do it though. With the Levin sword. We actually have exactly enough damage too, that's cool. This is going to allow Lisa to get away. And maybe Vake as well. Can Vake get over the bridge? Yes, he can. Interesting. Can any of the enemies attack over the bridge? No, they cannot. Also very interesting. Okay, so if we go like this, pair up here, we go like this. I'm not going to separate this turn because I need the other tile to be unblocked. Then I run over here. I heal Vake. I think we found a very close to 100% consistent line of play. The only thing I would have changed is having Robin move after Chrom so that I could trade the Killing Edge back into his hands. Because most likely I'm going to be hitting this guy with the Killing Edge next turn. Actually, maybe not. They might actually both go for Robin. And we already know that Robin can survive against a Barbarian and Archer. We calculated it earlier in the stream. Alright, this guy unfortunately having counter means we have a couple of lines of play here. We can either go up here and fish for a dual strike, which once again, in the final version of the run, in the full Iron Man plan of the run, this would be a consistent kill. We wouldn't need a dual strike. But to get it to work here, we need to fish for a dual strike. Or we can just stand on the village with no weapons equipped, but that's going to allow the Archer to attack us a bunch of times, and it's going to allow this guy to attack us a bunch of times. I'm going to make a save state here. I'm not going to use it. Well, I'm going to use it for something, but not for save abuse. What I want to test is this. I just want to see which enemies out of this group will attack Frederick if he's standing here. The Archer will. We've talked about in previous streams how using save states can be useful just as a way to test things like this, like enemy AI behavior. And in this case, I'm actually not even going to use it because the enemies did what I wanted them to do anyway. So it seems like this enemy will not attack, and I know these two will not attack. The only problem is I know this one will attack, so if he moves first, he's going to attack Frederick, and then the Archer is also going to attack Frederick. And that's going to mean Frederick's going to have to be healing every couple of turns, because these guys are going to be dealing a combined pretty significant amount of damage to him, unfortunately. And we can't really break through that easily. But we can do our best. I'm very worried about this mage, but I think I can move Chrom away from him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here. I cannot get Chrom out of his range. This could be a good time to get aggressive. Yeah, so this turn I'm going to do what I wanted to do last turn, what I should have done last turn. I'm going to Levin Sword first. Then I actually should keep the Levin Sword equipped because the mage is most likely going to attack Chrom here. So I'm going to go like this. And now Chrom should enemy phase the mage. Now, unfortunately, because this guy has passed, my other units need to just run away. Which might be okay. In fact, I could potentially set up something like this. Unfortunately not. Virion doesn't have the speed for it. So we're going to have to go like this. What about Rickon? No, he definitely doesn't have the speed. He has the same speed as Virion. Oh, I guess I'm wrong. Because he's getting +1 from Lisa. I could do this. I'm trying to figure out if it benefits me in any way. I think it actually does. I think this actually benefits me. This will keep the mage in a position that's further away from Chrom and Robin, and it will give me an extra turn to reposition my units and have them attack in whichever way I want them to, while also giving extra experience to Rickon. Which is just a good thing because I want Rickon to gain experience. Yeah, I think this is fine. Alright, let's check one more turn. Let's see what the enemies do. Okay, he did move onto the bridge. He moved to block the bridge, so that was one downside of my strategy. And unfortunately, that actually does leave Rickon within range of the Archer. Okay. Let's see what the enemies up here do. They do attack and... Huh. Okay. Very interesting. So I just tested this yesterday, and they did not attack Frederick. But now, they do attack Frederick. Him landing a crit is like pretty whatever, that's just... you have to live with it. But I literally just tested this yesterday, multiple times, and these two did not attack Frederick at any point. They literally just stood here for 20 turns in a row. Even when I had other characters run up and start attacking them, they just continued to stand here and do nothing. But for some reason, they decided to attack Frederick this time. I'm trying to figure out why that happened. Can Chrom walk over the river in order to help with positioning before I aggro them? Maybe, yeah, that could help actually. If I get Chrom on the right side of the river, we could set up to hit these guys with a pincer movement. The AI is very strange, yeah. Alright, I'm actually going back to the save state on this one. I said I wasn't going to use it, I'm definitely going to use it. Because I need to test this, I need to figure out what's going on here. I'm just going to repeat the same thing that we did last time. I think what's happening, it has something to do with the archer. Because in my previous attempt, the archer wasn't alive anymore. I think when the archer attacks me, it signals the other enemies to attack me. And when he's dead, I think it prevents them from attacking me. So let's do the same thing first. And you will see that the first guy won't attack me. Yeah, so this guy won't attack me. But these two, I think their behavior is linked to the archer. So if I do this again, the archer will attack me, and then this, I think, will cause these two to attack me. That's what I'm predicting will happen. And we also overlooked the fact that, unfortunately, this position is useful for baiting the mage, but it's, it causes, not only does it cause the mage to block the bridge, but it leaves Rick in range of the archer. What we can do is we can actually use this position instead. We could use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here. We could actually leave Rick in here. This would still cause the mage to block the bridge, but it would keep Rick out of range of the archer. Ideally, what we would do is we would have a square that causes the mage to not block the bridge, but we'd have to get up here, which we actually can. So let me try this and use the fire kills. Alright, so let's see if the barbarians at the top do the same thing as last time. So he attacks, and then I think this signals the other enemies to attack. Robin survives on 1, by the way, against this mage. Nope, I'm wrong. Why did that happen? Why were the mages doing 5 damage to Robin earlier and now they're dealing 6 damage to Robin? I don't know. Let me go back. I need to investigate this mage. What is special about him? Why is he different from the mage over here? Maybe it's because he has Arcwind. Let me go back to the start of the chapter. Could it be that my Frederick stats are different? No, I was testing on this same exact save file. It is a different mage, that's why I'm going back to the start of the chapter. I want to check. This guy has Arc Fire, which is 24 attack. This guy has Arc Wind, which is only 20 attack. So no, he should be dealing even less damage. It makes no sense that he's dealing more damage to Robin when he should be dealing less damage. This guy would have 22, even without magic +2. So this guy should be dealing... So if this guy deals 5 damage, this guy should be dealing 3 damage. I have no idea why this guy dealt 6 damage to Robin. It makes no sense at all. What about this guy? This guy's El Thunder. Okay, so this guy's El Thunder, which is 20 damage. But that's still the same as Arc Wind. So even if it was this mage, they have the same attack, so they should both be dealing 5 damage. I guess on the previous attempt, Robin gained a +1 resistance level that they didn't gain in the next attempt. That makes probably the most sense. So I guess my Robin's resistance stat is different from what it should be. This is unfortunate because it means we can't really hold this position the way that I was trying to do. Yeah, I got a different level up at some point. Okay, I just need to test this information. I just need to keep my units on the bottom alive so that I can test the information that I'm trying to test. But I don't know how to do that because right now we're in a we're trapped in an RNG loop because now the RNG that we're using has the same seed. No matter how many times we reset it, the RNG that we're using is always going to have the same seed. Now, this guy has pass, but we can kind of work around that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can work around that. So we can go like this here. No, you can go here. Kill this guy. This doesn't solve the problem because now Robin is in range of the archer who can still kill them with Luna Plus. We could have Lisa heal him, but then I think this guy kills Lisa. Let's check. 28, 24, 26. Yeah, Lisa dies here. Why do they make this so difficult? Okay, what about this guy? 23. Okay, Lisa survives if she stands here, I think. I just need to survive for one turn so I can playtest what I'm trying to playtest. Okay, I think we're fine. So because the archer attacked Frederick, I think the other enemies will now attack Frederick as well. Yes, so that's what they're doing. I don't know for sure if that's the reason, but it is what they're doing. Now, unfortunately, we cannot kill the archer. There are multiple enemies with counters standing around us, so this means we're going to be continuing to get attacked by multiple enemies with high damage and a crit chance every single turn. So let's do this for one more turn just to see what happens and just to kind of confirm that everything works the way that we think it works. God, these guys are so fast. Wow, nice level up. Now we go here. This should protect Virion. Now, can Rickon survive? The answer is no. So instead of doing that, we're going to do this. I should have traded the 11 sword into Chrom's hands, it's fine. Archer attacks, and then this should cause the other two to attack as well. But it's actually funny that he prioritizes Robin, who can kill him, instead of Chrom, who can't even attack him back. Yeah, so they are attacking Frederick pretty aggressively. So let's go back one more time. Now, unfortunately, we kind of need to fish for a dual strike here, but we have no way to change the RN. So if we don't get the dual strike here, I don't know what we're going to do. Didn't get it. Which means this guy destroys the village, which causes all the enemies to become aggressive, so we can't do anything with that information. I don't think there's a way to cycle the RN in this game either. I think I've tried it before and it didn't work. I mean, I can try again. We can test because we got 2 Luna Procs in a row. We can just see if we get 2 Luna Procs again. Yeah. So we have no way of cycling the RN. Which means we can't playtest what I want to playtest. So how do I get rid of the archer while also killing this guy? I don't know. I can't see a line. 16. I mean, that's not gonna work. I could try to crit him. I don't have the Orson Hatchet. Killer Lance maybe, but then the archer just comes over and kills Sumia, which once again breaks everything. Because I already moved all of my other units, I can't cycle the RN which means I can't playtest the thing that I'm trying to playtest. I think if I kill the archer that they won't aggro, but I can't test it. There's no way for me to kill the archer without the village also getting destroyed in the process. Or Frederick dying. Killer Lance on Frederick might work. Potentially. I mean, we can at least fish for a crit. Didn't get it. Okay, I mean, technically we killed him, but I don't... This is not going to remove the archer now. And then now Frederick has such low HP, they're not going to survive. Just keeping the hand axe doesn't work. We'll die to counter damage. We'll deal 32 counter damage to ourselves, and then the archer will hit us for, what is it, 6 damage? 10 damage, something like that. And then this doesn't even solve the problem now because we're in the same situation that we were last turn. If we try to kill the archer with a hand axe, well, I mean, there's one way that this possibly works. If we're able to kill this guy, which is not even a guarantee. Didn't get it, of course. So theoretically, if we were able to kill this guy, potentially if these three didn't aggro, we wouldn't kill ourselves with counter damage. Why does the game just want to make this so difficult for me to test? Let me go back. Let me see if we can find any way to test this, or I mean, we're just going to play through the entire map again anyway. This barbarian doesn't attack me, you're right. So this barbarian won't attack me, which means I can potentially kill the archer this turn. Okay, now this is blowing my mind. Why am I getting the dual strike there when I'm on the same exact RN and I'm not getting the dual strike? In fact, the RN completely just changed because Robin is getting crits now. Somehow doing what I did just completely changed the RN. Completely changed it. Okay, so now my theory is, without the archer in play, I know this one will not aggro, I think these two will not aggro, and then this one will maybe aggro. Or if I'm wrong, what's going to happen is that these two will aggro, and these two will not. This is going to allow me to differentiate them. In fact, I'm actually going to go into the options. I rarely do this, but I'm going to turn off skip actions, so we can actually watch these guys and see which ones move and which ones attack me and which ones don't. Because we know that these two are the ones from the left-hand side who start over here. So it will be useful to know if getting rid of them will benefit us in some way. We are also now in a much better position to win. I think we've already determined that Raken can survive. Oh, Robin wasn't on full health. I'm a complete idiot. Remember earlier when I was complaining about Robin not surviving on 5 HP before they were able to survive on 5 HP? That's because Robin wasn't at full health. Even, like, I'm not even accounting for the HP level up that they just got, but on the previous attempt, before we cycled the RN somehow, I don't even know how we did that, but before we were able to cycle the RN, Robin wasn't on full health. They took damage because they didn't land that crit before. Unfortunately, this guy having advantage causes a couple of problems for me. But I can at least do this. I can move Raken over here. Just a regular fire tome's fine. And then I can move Chrom over here. I'll just move here. Leaden Sword. Is this fine? Yeah. This guy moves first, okay. But yeah, see how we have 20 HP now? I was making my previous calculation based on a completely failed, completely false assumption that was based on nothing. Because the amount of HP that I had was different from the time when I survived on 1 HP. You have Rick a little bit of chip experience. Okay, the ones on the left do attack. So I had it backwards. It's actually the ones on the left do attack, and the ones on the right don't attack. That's why before there were 3 that weren't attacking me. It was these 3. It was him, and him. that come from the right. These 3 were not attacking me. And then probably what happened is that I had one of these guys still alive, which is why only one of them was still attacking me, because just one of them was still alive at that point. So if we stand here, we just use a vulnerary every turn, we can buy enough turns for the other units to get up here. This does mean that we should prioritize getting rid of the ones on the left, if and whenever possible. It's very difficult to do that though, because they won't attack you until you're standing on the village, which means if you stop to attack them, you're not going to be able to reach the village in time to keep it safe. And if they spawn with counter like they did, we can't even kill them on enemy things. There's just no way for us to do it. What I can maybe do is I can calculate how much damage they can potentially do to us and see if I can survive a round of counter damage. That might be possible, because then these 2 won't attack me. So let's test that out next. Here I want to... Honestly, I would love for Sully to get this kill. It's theoretically possible. We have a pretty high crit rate and a dual strike chance. Didn't get it. That means we have to give the kill to Robin now, because no one else can do it safely. Well, Vake probably can. Yeah, Vake can do it. Excuse me. Yeah, him having Vantage really sucked. Now what we want to do is actually just get up to the top as quickly as possible so that we can rescue Frederick. So what you need to do is have your other units move up here and start peeling the enemies off of Frederick as quickly as possible. It really helps that they won't attack you even if you move in their range. Although now I kind of want to test their aggro behavior, especially these 2, because apparently, or pretty obviously during my previous testing, these 2 were not alive. Also, wow, both of these guys spawning with Hawkeye really sucks. Typically, these guys have a sub 50% hit rate. Them both having Hawkeye massively increases their damage output, because it's giving them so many more chances to attack us. So, my theory is that I'm fairly certain that these guys will not attack me. So first, I'm going to make a safe state. Let me actually, let me make a poll as well. I want to ask you guys something. Tricky, you have to head out. Alright, talk to you later. I probably missed that message already. Alright, so even though I've been the reason I'm asking this is because I've been using save states to test out enemy behaviors and things like that. So there's no like real challenge to this. Like, we're obviously, if we can just use the save states, we're obviously going to beat this map. So the question is, do you guys want me to just take the information that we've learned and just move on to the next map? Or would you rather I go back to the beginning and try to use this information to actually beat the map legitimately? Because there's definitely merit in doing both of those things. Alright, so anyway, we've made a safe state. So what I want to do is I want to leave Robin and Rickon both in range of these barbarians first. We'll start with just the 2 on the left. So I want to see if they will attack Robin or Rickon here. They should see lethal on Rickon. Yeah, so they won't attack. They will not attack. Even though this guy is aggressive, and even though he sees lethal on Rickon, he will not attack Rickon. Look at this. He can absolutely kill Rickon 2 times over. He will not do it. He only wants to attack the person who is standing on the village. This guy right here just won't move and won't attack anyone. So theoretically, what I can do this turn, if I get rid of this guy, I think all of the enemies with counter are currently gone. I can equip Frederick with a bronze sword. And then I can use his last vulnerary. So what should happen is he should kill this guy on enemy phase. Now I'm going to test the aggressive behavior of this guy next. So we should, well, we're not going to kill him, but we will chip him down. Okay, this guy is aggressive as well. This guy's aggressive as well. How did I get into a situation before where almost none of them were aggressive, but now it seems like all of them are aggressive? I need to see if this guy's aggressive too. But we already know that these two are though, so like how do we fix? Because Sumia's just gonna die, right? Yeah, she can't even kill this guy with the Killer Lance. Can Rickon maybe kill this one? 14. No. We're short 1 damage. Alright, let's go back. I need to get other units up here faster. So this guy here is also aggressive. This guy right here is also aggressive, and he's the one that starts here. So we know that the ones that start down here are aggressive. We know the ones that start here are aggressive. But for some reason, the one that starts like up here ish, the one that starts like here is not aggressive. And then we don't know about the one who starts all the way down here on the mountain. We have to kind of like, we have to let him get up here so that we can test his behavior. So let's try to rush. Let's try to get more units up to the top more quickly this time, instead of just moving with just 1 unit for testing purposes. So we should have a bunch of enemies where like none of them are aggressive. Even if they see lethal on Rickon, they should not attack here. So let's see what happens. Let's see if that still holds true. Honestly, I think the same exact thing's gonna happen. I don't see any way that we can actually get out of this. Nobody is close enough to like do anything about this, right? Because these two guys will just kill Frederick next turn. Because they both have guaranteed hit rates, and they both... I mean, how much damage did they deal? 7? So yeah, they're going to deal 14 damage, or they'll just kill Frederick this turn, instead of... Because these 3 here are all aggressive, which is crazy. I think during the time when I did my testing, I must have killed one of these 2 guys before they got to the top. So the only ones up here were this non-aggressive guy, and then it had to be one other... The weird thing is, it had to be one other non-aggressive guy. I know, because I know for a fact there was 2 enemies, and neither one was attacking Frederick, only one of them was. So there has to be at least 2 that are non-aggressive. It has to be this guy, and then... No, it has to be... We know it's this guy, but then it has to be also one other guy. But I don't know who the other guy would be, because these 3 are all aggressive. And all of them spawning with Hawkeye really sucks, by the way. That just guarantees that they're going to kill Frederick. Well, let's test his behavior while we're here. Actually, we can't even get in his range. Is there any way to get through this? I see one potential path forward. It would revolve around getting some kind of crit and or dual strike on this guy. So start with this. Go here. Go like this. Go here. Orson Hatchet plus Killing Edge. Okay, we got what we needed. Now we can go here. We can get rid of this guy. Now Frederick can equip his weapon. He'll survive this turn. Now these 2 should attack Frederick only. They should ignore all other characters, even if we leave Rickon in their range. I do want to make a save state here because I want to test something. Make a save state here. Hold on a second. For some reason, sometimes it just like fails to make one, but you just do it again and it just works. Yeah. Okay. So let's just leave Rickon in their range and see if they attack. In fact, yeah, this is fine. Yeah, we'll do a legitimate attempt after this, but I'm learning really useful information. What's weird is that I don't do this off stream either. Like when I'm playing off stream, I never use save states when they would be so useful for testing. But then once I start streaming, especially because I've asked people about it before, and people were like, yeah, it makes sense to just use save states in order to test and to gather information. I feel more comfortable doing it on stream than I do feel doing it off stream, which is kind of weird. Okay, so let's heal Frederick back up. Okay, so I want to see if both of these guys are aggressive, or if neither of them are aggressive. They should neither be aggressive. Okay, so this one's also aggressive. My mind right now is just completely shattered. Nothing that's happening can be explained in any logical way. Because I have personally playtested this before just yesterday, and I know for a fact there were 2 barbarians standing here and here who were both ignoring Frederick, and then only 1 barbarian standing here who was attacking Frederick. But that can't be true because we just tested it, and every single barbarian attacks Frederick except for this one. This is the only barbarian who does not attack Frederick. So how is that possible? Like how could that possibly happen? If there's only 1 barbarian who's non-aggressive, how could I have already confirmed through testing that there were 2 barbarians who were not aggressive? It makes no sense. Either way, I'm going to use the save state one more time. I want to test one more thing. In fact, I know it was the other 2. I know it was the other 2 because I had already chipped them down. I'm remembering that now. I had 2 enemies. They were standing here. They were both chipped down on low HP, and they weren't attacking Frederick. So why are they doing it now? I don't know. I don't get it. Alright, so if we attack this guy with Ricken, does that turn him aggressive? Answer is no. What about this guy? Will it cause him to attack Ricken? Or will it cause him to keep attacking Frederick? Actually, I can't keep Frederick alive here. That was a bonehead play. Okay, here's a good question, actually. If we block these 2 tiles, what will he do? He'll attack the next nearest person. Okay. So they will attack people standing adjacent to the village, but they won't attack people standing away from the village. So as long as we don't stand adjacent to the village, and Frederick is the only person standing here, they will only attack Frederick, which means, theoretically, we could feed all of these barbarian kills to whichever characters we want, which means this map is like free experience. But the problem is, so okay, on Lunatic this map is like free experience. On Lunatic Plus, these barbarians are gonna get Hawkeye, they're gonna get Luna, they're gonna get Counter, they're gonna get Vantage. You won't be able to keep Frederick alive on this village indefinitely. But either way, I've gained enough information. People, based on the results of the poll, people very largely want me to actually replay through the chapter legitimately without using the save states for testing, which is totally understandable. That's probably the decision that I would have made as well. The main reason I wanted to poll it was just because if people didn't want to watch me play through the same chapter again, I wasn't going to make you guys watch me do that when we could just move on to chapter 6 right away. Alright, so let's start by highlighting this is going to be a serious attempt, a legitimate attempt. You know what, let's go Forge the Hand Axe. This is kind of a weird play because it's not something that I'm going to do in the final route, but we might as well do it now just so that we're not sitting here resetting the chapter over and over again. And this will give us an idea, this will give us a metric for what a successful attempt will look like in the future. So we're going to Forge the Hand Axe now, and we're also going to give a Strength Tonic to Frederick when we get into the map. This should make the map 100% consistent, which means we should be able to beat it on the very first attempt. The only thing that can cause problems is if too many of the barbarians on the right draw too many like really good, really offensive, really powerful skills. Yeah, we have used the energy drop already, so this Frederick is -1, so we need a Forge to correct for that. can't put Chrom here, but we can put Sully here, yes. Robin and them can go here, and then all the others can go in the bottom right corner. I think this looks good. Honestly, we probably could have even moved Frederick back 1 square. That could have been interesting. Right, go here, here. Dual strike would be nice. Got it. Actually, it didn't matter in that case because he had advantage anyway. Alright, start by highlighting all of the enemies that we do not want to aggro, so that we can take our time moving across the river. Like, in theory, Chrom could potentially shuffle enemies across the river. 1 at a time. Or, sorry, shuffle our units across the river 1 at a time. Didn't we calculate that Rickon can actually fight these mages safely? With the Lisa pair up? I think we did. That might be worth exploring. But we need to find a way to get a Lisa pair up over to him. That guy having counters really bad. I think that's gonna endanger the village. Possibly before we have time to get there, but maybe not, because she is still alive, at least. Her being still alive does kind of make things a little better. I think that buys us just 1 turn, if we can guaranteed fly up and kill the guy. Which I think we can do because we gave Frederick the Strength Tonic and the Forged Hand Axe. I think we can actually guarantee it anyway. So let's play things out. Okay, so I'd like to have Rickon standing here. Standing here with a Lisa pair up, which is actually quite easy to do. So we can just go like this. Chrom standing next to him, why not? Actually, Robin standing next to him would be smarter. You know what we could even do is move on to the river tile and attack him right now. Let's not attack him, but let's stand here and see who he prefers to attack. Then we can also put Robin next to our characters so we have a high chance to crit him and get rid of him immediately. And then with the Lisa pair up, we have just enough speed to not get doubled. Alright, let's see how this goes. I think he's going to attack Rickon. Okay, so the Barb is probably going to move very close to the village now. No, he attacks Chrom instead of Rickon. He attacks Chrom instead of Rickon. Somebody explain that one to me. That is wild. It's absolutely wild. Alright, so in theory we could ferry ourselves across the river here. We kind of need to do this now. So the only problem with what I'm doing now is that it's going to take us even more turns to get up to where Frederick is and assist him, which could certainly cause problems, because we've already determined that he is going to have a very difficult time surviving up there. At the very least, we can do this turn. That's going to allow us to pair up with Sully and then attack from the right-hand side over here if we need to. Unfortunately, this guy having counter kind of makes that point not really matter. Potentially kill this guy and then kill this guy. That actually kind of works. Interesting. Okay, we have some plays here. Alright, so here's the problem. This guy moved pretty far. I think we can still reach him. We can still reach him, okay. He actually doesn't have counter, but unfortunately this time he has Pavis, so sorry, I said this route was 100% guaranteed, but in fact I just realized it's not. Because when this guy spawns with Pavis, we just can't, we have no way of killing him. Except for Killer Lance Dual Strike will not do it. We would need a Killer Lance Dual Strike crit, because we're actually only going to deal 18 damage here. So he's going to have 20 HP left over. I don't think we deal 20 damage. No, we deal 18 damage. We deal significantly less than 18 damage. Because we're not going to have the Frederick strength bonus. And there's no way for us to get onto the village and block him either. So when this happens, when Anna dies on this turn, the only thing you can do is just run up here and just... I mean, this is it. Yeah, we didn't get it. That's it. Temp's over. So that really sucks. For that reason, I guess what I need to do is I need to, when I'm doing my resets, I need to make sure that that guy doesn't have Pavis. Once again, this is really highlighting how Pavis is by far the most frustrating, annoying, broken, problematic skill in the like Aegis and Pavis are so much worse than counter. If this guy has counter, there are ways to play around it. If he has Pavis, there's no way to play around it. You just have to reset. So we have to reset until these two guys do not have Pavis, which right now this one has it, so we just have to reset. And this will hopefully save our positioning. By the way, there are a lot of lurkers in chat today, which is both... Oh, poll completed. Duke Nuke is pointing out, I'm guessing you're talking about the bikers revving their bikes in the background, which is just this noise that everyone loves to hear. It actually distracted me so much that I forgot what I was about to say. Alright, let's just get on with this. Yeah, so if they roll counter, like, there are ways to play around it. If they roll Pavis, there's just nothing you can do. It's very stupid. I hate it. I hate it so much. Alright, so start by highlighting all the enemies that we cannot aggro. So I think these two are aggressive. For some reason, this one is not aggressive, but this one is, which is like, explain that to me. Somebody, how like, what? Like, this guy's not aggressive, but this guy is. This guy is. These two sometimes are, but sometimes aren't. Which again is like what? Maybe it still does have to do with the archers. Maybe it has to do with you have to kill the archers before the archer like gets into a certain position. I'm not sure. We're gonna test it again when we get to the end of this map. Anthony says we lurkin'. Yeah, it's interesting though because I don't have less viewers than normal. I have the same amount of viewers. I have like this is a very normal amount of viewers for my streams, but like nobody is chatting today. The chat is like almost dead. But yeah, the AI is very weird. Alright, so next we would go like this. Get Ricken into position. Go here. Nope. Ah! Boom. Go here. I guess this is fine. It's actually not. Because we would want to be dropping Chrom here this turn, but now we can't. In fact, I just messed like a billion things up. You mess up one movement and then you just get tilted and you just make like 6 additional misplays. Alright, so we need this guy not to have counter, please. Oh, interesting, she went for this one. Yeah, when she goes for this one, it also drastically changes things and makes things way better. Because this guy is way less of a problem. This guy unfortunately does have counter, but I think... so this guy's gonna be an issue. He's gonna deal a lot of damage to Anna. I don't know if he kills her. He does not. She will survive on 1. But then this guy... Okay, so this guy doesn't have Vantage. Okay. So this guy is going to hit Anna again. He's going to leave her on 1 HP. Then she's going to chip this guy, but leave him alive with counter damage. Oh no, it's these two. Okay. These two are... These two... So these... I'm trying to figure it out. I think maybe these two are not aggressive. These two are... These two, now I'm unsure about, and then this one seems to be aggressive. That's what I'm slowly, like, it's a conclusion that I'm slowly working myself towards. I feel like I thought I learned something, and then I'm realizing that I learned absolutely nothing, and I still do not understand anything that's going on here. Anyway, we can't do what I wanted to do, but I guess we can do this instead. So Rickon should be able to survive a round of combat here. And with the Thunder Tome, we should have an insane crit rate. Ooh, nice dodge. Didn't get the crit, it's fine. Killed ourselves with counter damage, that's fine. So her chipping that guy down and then killing him with counter damage is what happens in the overwhelming majority of cases, and that's really good. That works to your advantage. That basically solves all of the problems that we've been having with this whole forged hand axe thing, because when this guy's chipped down, Frederick can just walk up and kill him with no issues. And then now on enemy phase, we're going to kill both of these archers. The only problem is we just don't know what are these guys going to do to us. That I do not know. I have no idea. If we could get to them and kill them or chip them down fast enough, it would be great, but I don't think we can. What we can do though is, because these guys are going to be far away, we can actually kill just this guy when he's by himself, and then we can double back and fight these guys. So this strategy still does give us a lot more leeway. You know what I should have done? I should have given an extra vulnerary to Frederick. That was a huge oversight on my part. Okay, does this guy have advantage? No, he does not. Unfortunately, he has Pavis, which again, Pavis is such a problem skill. I can do this. We can give this kill to Robin. Go here. And actually even heal Rickon back up this turn with some good movement tech. Okay, so last time what we did was, I believe we kind of rushed into like moving across the bridge immediately as fast as possible. We might be able to find a way where we don't need to do that anymore, if we can keep Frederick alive for long enough, especially because now we have guaranteed lethal on these barbarians, instead of before where like we couldn't figure out a way to guarantee lethal on them. Should I attack from this position so that I enemy phase this guy? I kind of want to leave him alive for testing purposes, but it's kind of dangerous. Because if I leave him alive, he's going to eventually kill me before my reinforcements can get up there. Hawkeye, of course. Hawkeye. Luna, of course. Yeah, this guy's going to kill us in a matter of like 2 turns. The good thing is none of them have counter, so in theory we can enemy phase them to some extent or another. The problem is next turn we have to stand on the village, which means we're going to have to fight all 3 of them, which means they're just going to kill us. So what we could do here is start using Chrom to push characters over the river one at a time. It's not ideal, but if we had extra turns, we could do this. I just don't feel that we have extra turns. In fact, I feel like we're already 1 turn behind where I want to be. But let's play it out, I guess. Yeah, I feel like having Frederick attack from here and then kill this guy in enemy phase would have been the smarter play. But let's see what happens. Okay, so we need to see which one of these guys are going to be aggressive. I am going to save state here. I'm not going to be using it to fix like mistakes or errors or anything like that. I'm just going to be using it because I specifically want to test out something. I want to see if having my sword equipped changes anything. So no weapon equipped. I'm just going to end turn. 1 guy attacks me. Seriously, guys. Seriously, explain this. Anyone in the world, explain this to me. These 2 characters move together. They have linked AI. One of them attacks, one of them does not. How? Like, how is that a thing? And on the last attempt, we specifically confirmed that they both attack, and now they're not both attacking. You can't plan for this when the enemies, they don't behave the same way every time. Okay, so let's do sword equipped and see what happens. So if I have my sword equipped, they won't attack. So they just, whether I have the sword equipped or not doesn't change anything. It seems like the only thing that matters is whether the game just randomly decides if they want to be aggressive or not. It's 100% inconsistent. demonstrated it with no doubt. There is no doubt. I have video evidence. On the last attempt, we did 30 minutes of testing. We confirmed that these two guys both attack. And then we just confirmed that they don't both attack. Only one of them attacks. What skills do they have? Last time he did have Hawkeye, but that obviously it doesn't matter because this time this guy has Hawkeye, and he's not attacking. So it can't be that. You think pass is maybe what's causing it? Honestly, if anything, I think you might be onto something. I think pass, if there's any explanation, it would be pass. Because them having pass could cause them to think that they can move onto the village, and because they think they can move through Frederick, they're not attacking him. That is the only explanation I can think of that makes any amount of sense. Either way, I will say, either way, the information that I found is very, very useful for Lunatic runs. This is still going to be very inconsistent on Lunatic Plus, but this is extremely useful for Lunatic because this will work 100% of the time on Lunatic because these guys are not going to spawn with Counter, they're not going to spawn with Luna Hawkeye, they're not going to spawn with Pavis. You can just have Frederick chop them down with no trouble at all. And because he never visits the village, these enemies over here will never start moving, and these enemies over here will never start moving. Although, in our case, we are going to be triggering these enemies very soon. In fact, I kind of want to do it right now. The only thing is I have to confirm that I can actually kill this guy, which I can't remember if I ever confirmed that. The answer is no. So let me see if Robin can survive. Oh no, I remember what I did last time. I did this. I guess we would want to kill the one with Luna. Then, because we've already confirmed that this guy will attack Vake with priority above everyone else, what we should do is just get Vake as close to the bridge as possible. We could even attack this guy with the Orson Hatchet if we really wanted to. 15. Plus 19. Unfortunately, we can't guarantee the kill here. We could actually do it if we gave them both a strength tonic, but I think Chrom might already have one, and it looks like Vake already has one too. Alright, let's just do this. Iron Axe. Now, if this guy didn't have pass, we could maybe move our other units forward, but I don't know. And then we're going to move here so that no enemies will block the bridge, and we'll keep our Killing Edge equipped. So I think Vake is going to get attacked here, which is fine. That works to our advantage. I'll use a Vulnerary while I'm here. Yeah, I think it might be pass. Yeah, Hawkeye does not influence it. We've already confirmed that because last time all of them had Hawkeye and only 2 of them were attacking, and this time this guy has Hawkeye. He's not attacking. You think it's because Frederick is equipped? It's not that, because I just tested that. I used a save state. I unequipped him. The characters attacked, and then I loaded the state. I equipped him, and then they had all the same behaviors. I think if anything, it's either 1, it's either 100% inconsistent, or 2, it has to do with them having pass. Maybe when they have pass, it causes them to not attack. And we could look at the archived stream footage from the previous attempt to figure out if that might be the case. That would be a very productive testing. Fortunately, it's going to be very hard for us to get through here, especially because this guy has pass. Yeah, we're even going through all of this prep. Guys, this is insane. We've done so much prep to get these characters as close to the bridge as possible, and they still cannot get over the bridge without getting killed by these enemies. I think what we determined last time is we had to do something like this. The only problem is the enemies moved into a different position this time, so it doesn't work anymore. The strategy we used last time doesn't work anymore. at best, we killed this guy with a character who can survive against both of these barbarians, which is approximately nobody, because they have Luna, and counter. Okay, so we run away, and then we just hope that they don't chase us. Into the corner. Especially the guy with counter. If the guy with counter follows us, that's it. That's the end of, Fake. Hello, Garrett. Welcome to the stream. Good evening to you. It's still around lunchtime here. Last time one didn't have pass, so we could move someone behind Vake. Yeah, but we need to know. We don't need to know whether or not they have pass in general. We need to know if the ones who have pass are the ones attacking. We need to confirm whether the ones that have pass are the ones that are not attacking. If that has anything to do with it, or if there's just no correlation, and if there's no correlation, and if it's just completely random. But I do think we're onto something here. I think if we review the stream footage, I think we'll probably find some good data. This is very tricky. 28 plus 28. 56 minus 9 minus 4 is 43. They just kill Robin. They just kill Robin no matter what here. If I stay here to fight them, they kill me. If I run away, they chase me, and these two kill me. No, that's not true. I'm going to explain why. This is a property that I showed off in my Chapter 2 guide. One of these enemies has pass, and the other one does not. What this means is that we can go like this, and what they will do is this guy with pass will move through me because he wants to attack Robin, and then Robin will kill him. Robin will be injured, but this guy does not have pass, so he cannot move through Robin, so he will be forced to attack Chrom instead. I feel relatively confident about that. So we think this guy's going to attack us. I don't see any other guys, so yeah, we think this guy will attack us. We don't really know so much about the other two. Because we know that's going to happen, I think I'm going to start getting rid of these guys before the other guy gets up here. That way I can fight them at my own leisure. Yeah, so this guy moves through Chrom, he attacks Robin. We actually didn't take damage anyway, so we could have fought both of them, but we didn't know that. But there's no way to guarantee that. They had like a 20% chance of killing us, which is like, you cannot take a 20% risk to game over on an Iron Man attempt. That's just foolish behavior. Now this guy having Pavis causes some problems for us because he won't attack us, but we also can't kill him. And this guy won't move into a position that we can use to our advantage. I think the play here is actually to start healing with the Vulnerary. And then hope that we can survive a round of combat, but I don't think we can, but, I mean, what do you do? Go back in time and cause the guy to not spawn with the exact skills that kill you. Alright, unfortunately, two of the enemies started moving this way. That's really bad for us. We can maybe start drawing them back, but it's pretty inconsistent. This guy with counter being out of the way does help us a lot. It means that, in theory, we can potentially split them up into a group of this guy with counter, and then these guys who don't have counter. And that will allow Robin and Chrom to more safely fight their way through this group. Fortunately, this is pretty tricky. Hawkeye, Luna. That causes a lot of problems. Especially because all these enemies have 100% overlapping ranges. What I can do is I don't really see a way through here this turn. What I could do is sandbag for one turn. But if I do that... If I do that, I think I just die anyway. 28 plus 23. 51 minus 9 minus 4 is 38. They just have exact lethal on me anyway. Well, if I could heal myself, they wouldn't, but I can't heal myself because I have to attack. In fact, I can't even get rid of this guy safely, so the whole point is moot. So I'd have to spend a turn just specifically getting rid of this guy safely. I'm gonna try to use the same property that no, I can't do that, because then this guy will kill Chrom. Right? 51 minus 12 minus 6. Yeah, Chrom dies. So if these two didn't have overlapping ranges, what I could do is pull back with Chrom, get this guy to attack Robin as my anchor, and then this guy to attack Chrom, but that doesn't work either, because this guy is Hawkeye, and these two with combined damage will just kill Chrom. I do think this is my highest chance of success though, so I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go here. This should cause this guy to run back and attack Robin. Then this guy will run over and attack Chrom. But then unfortunately this guy will run over and attack Chrom, and he's guaranteed to hit. So Chrom has to dodge this attack right here. The other problem is this squad over here cannot fight these guys safely at all. They have no possible way of fighting this team of enemies that's chasing them. Because it's a guy with counter. Backed up, Luna counter, backed up by a mage. Okay, so we need Chrom to dodge here. Got it. And a crit too, nice. Okay, now what we really want is these enemies to start doubling back. They did not start doubling back, but this is fine. We might be able to chase them down. Okay, so this guy does not have pass, so we think that he's going to attack us. We're pretty sure he's going to attack us. When he does... There's a couple different ways this can play out. So we're going to have to do some pretty complicated calcs here. So we want either the bronze sword or the bronze axe equipped. If we have the bronze axe equipped, we're going to deal 19 counter damage to ourselves. We're going to take 9 damage from him. And then we're going to take 9 damage from Luna. 19 to ourselves, 9 from him, 9 damage from Luna. That's 37. We always die. If we use the bronze sword, we're going to deal 21 to ourselves. We're going to take 7 from him. We're going to take 9 from Luna. 21 to ourselves, 7 from him, 9 from Luna. It's the same, it's 37. We just always die. The difference is the bronze sword decreases the chance of him hitting us. And if he does not hit us, we only deal 21 damage to ourselves, and then we guaranteed survive. So we have to use the bronze sword here, and we just have to pray for a dodge. Only thing you can do in that situation is just maximize your odds of success. This guy having Luna is a massive problem. Can we kill this guy? No. Can Robin survive against just this guy? Probably not. 23. Minus 4 is 19. He will kill us. Which means we have to sandbag for another turn. Well, can Chrom survive? Probably not. 23. Minus 6 is 17. Nope, Chrom dies. And this guy is Hawkeye. So we can't really play around that. I swear, it just seems like the enemies... Like the randomized skill thing. I love it to death, but sometimes, especially like the microsecond that I start streaming or I hit the record button, the enemies always, like every single enemy on the map gets the exact combination of skills that screw over like whatever plan I'm trying to do, like without fail. Just to a comical degree. Okay, now we really need these two to double back and start chasing Robin and Chrom. I don't think they're going to, but we gotta get them to, we got to try to get them to. Need a dodge. Okay, we got the dodge. That's clutch. That means we won't take any counter damage on the second hit. That keeps us alive. And he did attack us. So I think it has to do with pass. I think you guys are right. I think pass is the solution here. I think it's all about pass. It's a very, 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 very interesting observation. Alright, we really want a dual strike here. Got it. And a crit too. Nice. This gives us a ton of momentum. Frederick is now guaranteed to survive for as long as we need him to. The problem is our team in the bottom left is like guaranteed to die. Like right now-ish. Like we have no way to survive for long enough for Robin to get over here. The only thing we could potentially do is maybe... I don't see this actually working, but possibly we can move back up this way and kite them. We're probably gonna have to reset this attempt just because of every enemy getting like the nuts skills and then also behaving in the most aggressive, unfortunate way. Let's see what they do. Okay, they did split up. That's good. Problem is, this guy is the biggest problem and he's still trying to corner our other units. We can't deal enough damage. Well, can we? Actually, don't know because Lisa's in the way. Well, hold on, yes, I think. We can deal 12 damage with a pretty bad accuracy. We can do this. We can deal about 15 damage. That's 23. Unfortunately, actually, Vake can't reach him. So that's a problem. Could deal 7 more. 23 minus 7. We could get him down to 16, or we could do 23. $17. That's not enough to kill, but it might be enough to. It might be enough to tip the scales. He's gonna deal 14. So this guy can't reach Rickon if Vake moves the body block. So if we do this, if we go here, we chip him down, then Vake body blocks with nothing equipped. He will attack Vake. Vake will survive. Rickon can chip him again, and this will put him down to a range where Vake can kill him. I think this works. We also guaranteed survive and kill this guy. Can we move into one range with him? Yes, we can. Can I one-shot him? No, I cannot. I would love it if my other characters can get over here fast enough to set up a situation where we can switch Maribel into the lead and have her heal Robin. So somehow, defying all logic, this somehow turned into a winning attempt. I have no idea how. What classes can walk over water? I'm not sure. Most of them can't, though. Most of them cannot. Even some of the ones that you'd expect. Yeah, Vake survives. Yeah, so whichever barbarians spawn with pass, we can feed those kills to whatever units we want later on. We actually figured that out at the end of the last attempt. I think that was after you left the stream. We already determined that when the enemies are sitting here, they won't do anything. Even if I attack them with my other characters, they will not attack my other characters. And now that we know that it's tied to their... we're like 90% sure it's tied to their skill selection. If we get enemies to spawn with pass, we can give those kills and experience to whichever units we want, which is actually pretty cool. Hey Charmander, you're actually hardcore lurking today. You're gonna take a nap. If you want, you can fall asleep while watching the stream. I don't mind. People do that all the actually. I do that when watching other people's videos and streams. It does not offend me at all if people do that when watching my streams. All right, so now we can give this kill to Bake. We have an 81% hit rate here, or a 86% hit rate here. Technically, Virion's the better option. Can Robin bail out if needed? Robin cannot bail out. So we should probably go with the chance that has higher success. Oh, never mind, 91's the highest chance. It is wasting an Orson Hatchet charge, but... very awesome looking Vake. That speed level up is huge. The speed level up is massive. Love to see that speed level up. Yeah, today has been extremely productive. I learned way more information than I expected. I actually thought today was just going to be about just like brute forcing our way through this chapter and then using our like leveled up units as a way to test out new strategies for chapter 6. But instead, this entire stream pretty much just ended up being coming up with strategies to make chapter Paralog 2 as consistent as possible, which I have no complaints about that. I'm actually very happy about that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Robin and Maribel are... hold on a second, I have to check something. I believe Robin and Maribel are also sitting on 4-8, so if I can get them to access one of these shiny spots, I should be able to skip to their C support immediately. Okay, heal is 17 experience, mend is 22, so healing twice here is actually more experience than mending once. So I'm gonna do that. Now comes the fun part. Getting all of our units all the way back across the map. By the way, most attempts are not going to be this ugly. Typically, we're going to do something similar to what we did last time, where Robin and Chrom hold this position on the bridge, while all of my other units run across the bridge. The only reason it didn't happen this time was just because every single enemy in this group had like an exact combination of skills that made it impossible for us to get past them safely. Instead, we had to do a whole song and dance where we kept everyone alive in this corner. Now we're gonna have to spend like 50 turns getting everyone back into position, which I don't want to do, but it is what it is. We gotta do it. We just gotta do it. We don't have a choice. Alright, so let's do this. Given the fact that our Robin is already extremely solid and they already also have almost max weapon rank, I actually think Maribel on the shiny spot makes more sense. And we got the +1 support anyway, so this is great. This should give us a B support, and then I think... I don't know where Chrom and Sully are, so I don't think they're... Would there be any point in trying to rush them? Like, if it was theoretically possible. The problem is I wasn't tracking my stats when I did this run. My support stats. So I don't know if it's even worth it to try and fish for that shiny spot. What about this pair? I think, if I remember correctly, this pair it was like something like maybe exactly 1 point away. So I don't think it's worth it to try and farm a shiny spot with them. Honestly, I don't remember. That's the problem, is I just don't remember. I didn't keep good notes when I was prepping this squad, but we can use this information on future runs, so it's not the end of the world. Okay, so as we've confirmed before, this guy should ignore us, and even if we attack him, he should continue to ignore us. I'm actually going to unpair from Chrom. That way my stats are a little bit lower, so I can fight this guy additional times. No, I actually need the Chrom pair up to survive. Actually, I don't think even the Chrom pair keeps me alive. I have to use the sword to stay alive, which sucks because I kind of wanted to grind Lance rank. Alright, let's do this then. Sure, why not? Free experience for Sully. Let's actually get Ricken involved in this. And I don't know, should I be boosting Ricken and Virion when they're so far behind already? Or should I be focusing on the characters who are already, like, strong? I'm just going to give this to Maribel. And not Robin this time, so she actually gets something. It'd be nice if she got experience. Dying Blaze is incredible, though. That is an unbelievable pickup. So even though this guy is lethal on Sully, even though Sully is actively attacking him, he's still going to keep ignoring her. And we do think that it has something to do with them spawning with the pass skill. Is Robin going to marry Maribel in this run? Yes. When my Robin gets high speed, so when I get to the end of Chapter 3 and my Robin is exactly level 10, if their speed is high, I turn them into a Dark Mage and I marry them to Maribel. That way they get all of the support aura skills in the game. Hex, Anathema, Demoiselle, and Dual Support Plus, they will have all of them. If my speed is low, I have to turn Robin into a Mage. And if I do that, I'm typically probably going to pivot into marrying them to Saria instead. This is the optimal configuration. I think Robin Maribel makes a better pairing, because it gives you Robin as a Nosferatu tank, and then later on you can also have Saria as a second Nosferatu tank with an additional partner. In theory, we'll see if it works out. Yeah, we can just sit here and farm this guy. We can farm staff experience from the kills that we get. You know what we should do? Honestly, I mentioned that Sully is underleveled and we need to level her up. What we should be doing is leveling up Sully. And yeah, if we use the forest tile, we can survive. So that we can grind lance rank instead of sword rank, which is good because we need lance rank. So that's 2. And then the whole time we're doing this, getting beautiful staff experience onto Maribel. Amazing level up. Yeah, Maribel's growths leave much to be desired, but I will say, to her credit, her stats are largely irrelevant. Did not want to crit there. I have to move Robin back out of the way so that Sully doesn't land a bunch of crits. That was a misplay. I did it really fast too without thinking. I noticed it, I saw it, but I was already pushing the button before I could change what I was doing. Yeah, very underwhelming level up. Even for Maribel, like her growths are not amazing, but even for her, that's kind of underwhelming. Let me see if Maribel is boosting her crit rate too. I think she is. Yeah, we need to get this crit rate down to 0. That way we can fight this guy as many times as we need to get our ranks. And this is like an entire level for Sully. This is like a level and a half, honestly. Speed level up there is a huge pull. That is fantastic. That's so good. That is gonna... Oh my god, that helps so much in the next chapter. Because she now has 10 speed, that's gonna cause her to give 1 additional speed to Chrom when they pair up. So huge. That is gonna make chapter 6 so much more consistent. I'm really liking this plan. Going to Paralog 2 before Chapter 6, it just pays dividends in the Iron Man setting to help with consistency. You're getting more experience onto the characters that you actually want to train. You're getting more support ranks onto your characters so that they can potentially reach that A support for extra +1 in a bunch of stats. You're getting access to buyable hand axes and javelins. You're getting the physics staff, which is actually a huge deal. Now that I think about it, the physics staff helps a lot with Chapter 6 if you could get it in time. Another thing too, by the way, because we were experimenting with enemy AI, we didn't really optimize what we did up here. We actually could have specifically left the enemies with pass alive. And what happens is that if the enemies with pass block all of these tiles, the enemies who can attack Frederick still won't attack Frederick. So in the best case scenario, you could get 3 enemies with pass all around Frederick blocking all of these tiles, and then you could have like 5 barbarians just standing here, and you could just farm them for as many turns as you need to. This should be our last point of weapon experience for this chapter. And we still didn't reach C rank lances, unfortunately. I'm gonna go one more attack with Sully. Okay, perfect. Now, there's a couple different lines of thought here. We could have Rickon or Virion start attacking to get some experience. Or we could have Frederick attack to guarantee that he reaches level 8. I mean, if Virion can attack without killing, which he can, it's just free experience onto him. Same with Rickon though. And honestly, I value Rickon more. Mavtato says I'm a walking Fire Emblem encyclopedia. I honestly think I'm not one of the best or one of the smartest players, but I do think that I have put in the effort to try and test and try to understand things that most people just don't bother trying to figure out. So my greatest strength isn't that I'm like the smartest player, or that I'm the best player, or that I never make mistakes, because that's not true. I make mistakes all the time, and there are definitely players who are smarter than me, both in terms of like Fire Emblem gameplay and in terms of strategy games in general. But my one quality is that I have like an unyielding curiosity, and I want to know how things work. I don't just want to come up with a strategy that beats the chapter. I want to know how everything works, and I'm willing to put in the time and the effort to test everything and figure out how it all works. And then, ideally, I can give that information to other people who are smarter than me, and they can use that to come up with better strategies. Anyway, Virion just gets a free chip there because there's no reason not to give it to him. And then, I think we give the kill experience. It's either Sully or Frederick for sure. I don't think investing in Rickon or Virion long-term is a good plan because we're not going to be using them long-term. We have to think about the long-term consistency of this run. In the spirit of long-term consistency, my mind is telling me that Frederick is already strong enough to beat Chapter 6, and Sully is not. So I think Sully is the play. I think it has to be Sully. We need to get Sully ready for Chapter 6 as much as possible. Sully or even Chrom, in fact. Theoretically, I could have just rotated Chrom into the lead there and given him the kill. That might have actually been the best play. But I wasn't thinking about it because I was thinking about... I had my Sully in the lead. Alright, so this went very well. This was very fantastic. Unfortunately, I cannot stream for a very long time today. So I'm not going to be able to do Chapter 6 today. I have very important plans for later tonight, and they were scheduled like a month in advance, so I can't just like flake on very important plans. And it's also something that I want to do anyway. It's not like an obligation, it's actually like a fun thing. But either way, I can't stream for a very long time today, so we're just gonna finish off this chapter, and then we'll I'll probably wind down the stream, maybe with a little bit of chatting. Maybe a little bit of chatting stream. One thing you can do is that you can set up a situation that pulls Victor to the right while all of the other enemies go to the left, and this allows you to better feed these barbarian kills to the units of your choosing. I'm going to show off that strategy now before we finish this chapter. It does take a little while to get your units into position. I like to use, you kind of have to use Robin and Sumia for this, unfortunately. Sumia Fred does not work, but on the other hand, it does allow Fred and Chrom to get a little bit of support this chapter and fight together a little bit this chapter. So it's not the end of the world. I'd really love Maribel to get some more levels and to actually get some level ups that are not completely empty. I made a misplay. Sorry, I messed everything up. You're supposed to get your units in position before you check the village. I didn't do that, and that kind of just ruined the entire plan. With that in mind, I think I just have to kill this guy now. So let's do that. Yeah, I completely messed everything up. I have completely messed everything up. What we want is for Chrom and Robin to just kill this guy right now before he has a chance to do anything. He will not have a crit chance against us. Don't have to worry about that. Totally fine on the crit chance. Okay, we got him. Unfortunately, I can't show off what I wanted to show off. I'll just show it off in a future stream. The other benefit to doing it the other way, the way that I wanted to do it, is that you get to fight Victor for multiple turns. Because there's no rush to kill him quickly. So you can have Robin fight him for 2 turns and you end up getting more experience overall. But this is fine, we got a ton of experience. This guy here has counters, so we want to take him down with the hand axe. We need the Sumia pair up, which we can actually get because we unpaired her on the last turn. So that's fantastic. That plays exactly to what we're trying to do here. So let's just go, I guess, here. Like this. Hand axe. Yeah, this footage is going to be extremely useful when I make my guide for the Paralog 2 chapter. Alpha C says, RIP. For your plus defense Robin, you're thinking of putting her in Dark Mage and Sorcerer before ending in Valkyrie, but that uses 2 second seals. Is that a good idea? Typically you want to end in Sorcerer. Honestly, one plan that I have for female Robin, I haven't talked about it before on stream. I don't typically like talking about my plans before I show them off on stream, because what ends up happening is other people do them before I do them, and then I don't get credit for coming up with the ideas that I came up with. And honestly, some people do this anyway, even after I post them on streaming videos, but that's a completely separate discussion. But I'll tell you what I have in mind anyway, it's not that big of a deal. So one idea that I have for female Robin that I think is very smart is to go from Tactician to Troubadour. This will remove Robin as one of your best combat units, so it's only going to work in very specific team building contexts. You have to build around this, but when Robin is in Troubadour, they're going to level up insanely fast because they're going to be gaining staff experience. Then when they get to level 10, you promote them to Valkyrie. You end up having a female Robin with all of the advantages of the Valkyrie build, but unlike the other Valkyrie characters, let me check something about Muriel. I think Muriel can do this too. So it should be Muriel and Robin should be the only characters who can do this. So Muriel can do it, and Robin can do it, and that's it. So only Muriel and Robin can do this, and Muriel is a lot more squishy than Robin. So Robin kind of ends up being stronger at combat while they're leveling through Valkyrie. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off the topic. So you go Troubadour, you get Demoiselle, you level up using staff experience, then you go into Valkyrie. Now you essentially just have a Mage Robin on a horse, who is just an incredible combat unit. Once they get to level 15, they're going to get dual support plus, and then you switch them over to Sorcerer. Now you have a Nosferatu tank with Demoiselle and dual support plus, which is kind of nice. I don't know if it's worth all the effort, but it should work in the long term. I think it works better than going Dark Mage, Sorcerer, Valkyrie. I think Sorcerer is a better ending class than Valkyrie is, in most cases. For most characters, if they can end in Sorcerer, they would usually prefer to end in Sorcerer. Next thing we need to do is ideally get rid of this guy in a way that will not get us killed by the archer, which is actually tougher than it sounds. Especially because both of these guys have Luna. What about the opposite? He's gonna hit us for way too much damage. I don't think we can reliably get rid of this guy. Where's Chrom? Oh, Chrom is with Robin. That's right. Huh. Well, if Chrom is with Robin, no, this guy has the exact skill that perfectly blocks exactly what I would need to do to make this work. Seems to be the theme of today's battle. Trying to figure out if there's a position I can stand that makes something work. This guy does not have pass. Okay, so if we go here, problem is this guy will kill me. Not if I have Vake chip him down first. So Vake here. Chip this guy. Robin goes here. Finishes him. Maribel goes here. Oh, she cannot reach. Why can she not reach? Because there's a forest in front of her. I'm a complete idiot. I could have just killed this guy with Chrom if I knew this was going to happen. Is there any way for me to salvage this? What is his speed? Fortunately, him having Luna is a big problem. Does Lisa survive? She very well might. 28. -2. She actually does not. If she's a rescue staff, that would be a completely boneheaded move. I could also use the physics staff that I just found, which is probably a very smart idea. Fortunately, I cannot reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on. This guy can't reach her in this space, right? Sometimes it's hard to see, but yeah, this guy can't reach from this space. Okay, so I need someone with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need someone with 12 magic. I think this works. So I physic Robin. This will keep Robin alive. Yeah. Oh, he can reach me now. Okay. In this situation, I mean, I couldn't have healed from any other position anyway, so I had to end my turn here anyway. So it ultimately comes back to the same. It just keeps wrapping back around to the same problem. We can't safely get rid of this guy because of the way we had to engage. Because I failed to draw out Victor safely the way that I was supposed to do. Out of these two, who would I rather sacrifice? Honestly, they are remarkably similar. They are almost the same exact character. It's just they even both play around Aegis, but one of them targets the defense stat, and one of them targets the res stat. Neither one of them has long-term prospects. I'm going to keep Rickon alive, specifically because he already has 66 experience. That's the only reason. There's no other reason for that. It's just because he has more experience, which means he's more likely to reach a higher level. Alright, so this guy will kill Virion. If I was playing Iron Man, this is 100% what I would do to keep the run going. I'm not going to use Virion in the long term. He would be useful on Chapter 7, but so is Rickon. And I'm not going to use either one of them in the long term, so it just doesn't matter. Alright, so with this in mind, I would love it if Chrom could get this kill, but it would be very difficult to set that up. If I can get rid of Robin's pair-up partner, or pair him up with somebody who does not give speed, I can hit this guy one time without killing him. The only problem is when I do that, it necessarily prevents Chrom from being able to pick up this kill, because he will be rotated into the rear position of a character who has already acted. So let me see if we can do it this way. I would have to chip him down pretty significantly, is the main issue. Nice. Yes. Actually, I haven't had Vague Miss in a while. It's kind of nostalgic. Alright, so yeah, I don't think there's any way Chrom gets this kill. I mean, I could play for crit, right? Play for crit, play for dual strike even. Yeah, why not? Didn't get it. And we just go like this. Gotta feed the kill to Robin. It's the only way to beat the chapter safely.
Thank you.
Do you get Virion back anyway? He does have plot armor, but he doesn't actually rejoin later on. I don't think. Actually, I don't know how confident I am in that statement, but I don't think he comes back. I mean, I know he comes back in the story later on, but I don't think he'll rejoin as a unit if he was killed. Anyway, as you can see, when you unlock this shop, you get access to javelins and hand axes, infinitely viable javelins and hand axes, which is amazing. Yeah, Vake miss. That was actually the first Vake miss, maybe in this entire run. I'm not sure. I didn't record all of the footage, but I think that might have been the only Vake miss in this entire playthrough, which is kind of crazy. We've had a very accurate Vake, and then he goes and misses a 91. Anyway, like I mentioned, I won't be able to stick around and stream today. One thing I will point out to you guys first, before I end the stream, I noticed this when routing for my Iron Man. You always want to check your supports before you go into the barracks. If you go into the barracks first, and the characters get a +1, like, let's say for example, Sully and Chrom got a +1, and then we came here and we viewed their support conversation, it would still cap them at whatever the value is for the A support. And yeah, this worked out really well because we got multiple A supports unlocked. We should have the Robin Maribel B support, just like I said, they were at 4-8 before. So with the +1 that we got, that allows them to jump to 8 out of 8. Frederick Sumia jumped to, I think they were 1 away, like I said. Vake Sully is whatever, that's like a free one. You eventually get just by having them fight together at some point in time. Which, I mean, it could help us at some point since Vake and Sully are both on our main team. If we need them to switch and pair up with each other instead of their main partners, we can use that to our advantage. So this party is significantly stronger than the one on the other save file. I'm going to compare them in a second. Let's do this first. Nice. I can't remember if he was already at 99 though. No, he wasn't. Okay, cool. So we actually got all of that experience. Alright, so let's go in here. We should be able to get an idea of how much the Chapter 6 benefited us. Sorry, the Prologue 2 before Chapter 6 benefited us. I guess if I didn't have Virion here, I would use Kellum. So we have a level 7 Chrom. Let's write everything down. Level 7 Chrom. 10, 14 Robin. 13 Lisa. Basically 14, but whatever. 8 Fred. I think Tricky just wants me to go to the shop and buy some items. I don't need to do that for 2 reasons. Number 1, I don't have to do it on stream. I can just do it off stream. I can do it at the start of the next stream. And also number 2, like I said, we already found a solution for blocking, for moving the Risen out of the way anyway. So even if they block the shop, we can just get rid of them later. Level 9 Vake, this is a huge deal. That's way different from before. Sumia 5. Sully 4. Rickon 3. Maribel 6. And Kellum 5. So this is what we've got by doing Paralog 2. Is Vake any good? If you mean in general, is Vake good? Yes. If you mean in this playthrough, has our Vake turned out good? Yeah, he seems pretty good. I can check his growths in a minute to see if he might be below on speed. I'm not sure. Right now I'm checking to see. So we just did Paralog 2. Now we're going to check to see how much higher the total level of our party is from the extra experience that we got from Paralog 2. So that's our number 1 squad. Now we're going to be... Oops, I just loaded the same file. Now we're going to be looking at the other file, the one that did not do Paralog 2. Continue. X says GG. Yared, welcome to the stream. I already answered your question, but I don't think I said welcome. Okay, so now we have a new party with 10 Chrom. So our Chrom is stronger. 7 Fred. Our Fred is weaker. 10 Robin. Our Robin is significantly weaker. 13 Lisa, that's the same. A little bit less experience overall, because remember last time she was almost 14. Sully 5. Sully is slightly stronger. Sumia 6. This is the big one, but actually they're still closer in level than I expected. I actually did much worse at training Sully and Sumia this route, but they're still actually very close to the previous attempt. Maribel 5. Rickon 3. Virion 3. Kellum 5. And then Novake. So the big difference here, I think, is that we got 3 extra levels onto Chrom. No, sorry. We traded a little bit of experience on Chrom for extra levels on Frederick, significantly more levels on Robin. Sully and Sumia is kind of a wash because we did a much worse job at training them, but they're almost the same level. And the big difference, I would honestly say the big difference is that not only did Maribel get more experience just from like grinding, just using her staff, but we essentially have the same squad, but slightly stronger, and with 9 additional levels, just like 9 additional levels on Vake that we otherwise didn't have. So we essentially gained 9 extra levels on Vake and 4 extra levels on Robin. That's a pretty big deal. Tricky, you're saying it's +6, but it's actually more like 9, just because in the previous run we weren't even using Vake at all. So before he was like a 0 on our squad. Now he's like an actual. He was like a level. He was a non-factor. Now he's a level 9 character that we did not have before. Like if you wanted to add up all the total levels, we essentially replaced a level 0 character with a level 9 character. Or in the worst case scenario, you could say that I guess we're replacing Rickon and Virion with a level 9 character. So it is +6 overall, but even still, it's just like it's a massive power spike that we otherwise didn't have. Next thing I want to check is I want to look at our Vake to see how he turned out. So let's go to Vake. Base stats. He's in a really tricky spot. Doesn't line up very well with the table for readability. Okay. In 6 levels, he has gained 5 strength, so that's really good. 4 skill, that seems really good. 5 strength, 4 skill. Speed. He gained 3 speed, I think. Which I don't know if that matches his speed growth. It's right around 50, so yeah, this is actually good. He's on pace for. So he's on pace. He's a little bit above on strength. He's, I think, either close or above on skill. He's slightly above on, or just about where he should be on speed. Luck, who cares? It's insignificant stat. Defense, he gained 4 levels of defense, which is awesome. I think it's like expected, but still awesome. Res, of course, is 0 still. And then HP was 29, so 35 minus 29 is 6. He only gained 6 HP, which is actually surprisingly maybe a little below expected average. So if we look at our character growth rates, I know his growth rate for HP is actually above 100. Yeah, it's okay. Well, it's only 105, so there's a small chance for him to be at 36 HP, but typically he's going to be exactly 35 here. So maybe he's fine here. Yeah, so his speed growth is 50, and he's right on 50. So he's basically right on pace on all of his stats, and like a little bit above, maybe a little bit above where he should be on strength, like maybe not even a full point above. So very, very, very solid Vake. If not, like, the thing is, not only does this Vake just kind of look solid in general, but this is like an expected Vake. Like you're pretty much always going to get this Vake because of the way he's built, with high bases and high growths. you don't. It's very difficult to get a Vake that is like completely screwed in any stat. He'll pretty much always turn out exactly the same. So you can very reliably plan around how you're going to use him. And now, as opposed to last time where we only had Frederick and like sort of Robin and sort of Chrom, now we have Frederick, Robin, Chrom, and Vake, all capable of fighting. Now we have essentially 4 good fighters instead of 3. Yeah, he's guaranteed to have 35 HP because his HP growth is above 100. But yeah, I have to get ready for my plans for later tonight, so I cannot show off any Chapter 6 strategies, unfortunately. I would love to do that, but I know if I start playing, I'm going to get caught up in it, and I'm going to end up streaming for 8 hours, which I cannot do that today. So, thanks to everyone who stopped by. Thanks to all the lurkers who stopped, who were here, who left a like. Thanks to the chatters, the active chatters. Active chatters are great, especially today. You guys were honestly, you guys were the MVPs today, because I learned so much information just based on the suggestions that I got from chat and just testing out the suggestions. Not everything that everyone suggests, ends up being pertinent, but if we take the time, if we're patient, if we test everything, we are learning extremely valuable information that, in my opinion, is probably not documented anywhere else. I don't think some of this information has ever been documented by anyone else. Like, you're not going to find it on the wiki. Stern's Forest, any other Let's Plays, because they typically just look for a way to beat the game. They're not looking for a way to explore the mechanics in depth. Anyway, goodbye to X, goodbye to Tricky, goodbye to Vivi Cooley, goodbye to Neff, Duke, Nadira, anyone else chatting recently, Aggro, and I'm not going to call out everybody, but I will call out the people who have been chatting recently. Alpha and Maptato. I'm not going any further back. Thank you guys. Duke Nuka, Mirror Fanboy. I am going to have some lunch, I think. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day.